everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wednesday Night Live. We got special guests with us tonight, Michael Barrera from SilverBack E-Liquids, or is it you guys are E-Juice, or I mean, it doesn't really.
So our parent company is SilverBack Distro, but we're generally known as SilverBack Juice Co.
SilverBack Juice Co. And we got him as a guest tonight. He's going to tell us his vape journey and talk a little bit about SilverBack. Also, we got news and advocacy with Tim. Also, we have a Coil build today. I pre-recorded something for you guys to watch with a lot better lighting and stuff so you can kind of see what's going on. Tom has got what cheeses Tom. And what else we got going today? Oh, we got the poll question of the week, which is a good one. And that's about it. How is Mr. Brian doing this evening?
Doing pretty good, actually. Been pretty nice up here. Get to play with some new toys, and that's really about it.
New toys? You buying stuff?
I'm trying out that RDTA for that Aegis Boost Pro today. I put a coil in it, and I'm trying it out to see how it is.
Nice. We'll have to do a review on that in maybe next week's show.
Yeah.
Tim, how's Tim doing?
I'm good. I am real good. I finally put a wrap on the Dinnerly experiment. That's over. I can go back to my non-neutral oils and not having half the crap they need you to use to make things. So no
more packages, no more food packages.
No, that was a deal. That was a freebie. A friend of mine had a coupon, and so it was a $60 value. And so I just took it. I took it all, the whole kit and caboodle, right up front. So basically, got free food for about 12 days.
Nice.
That was the goal. The only downside is you had to cook it. Like, you actually had to do legit work and cook it. You know what I mean? It was like, you couldn't just like cheat and throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds and you were on your way.
Yeah, none of that stuff's microwave.
Bachelor
it's all
life,
stovetop.
Man.
Yeah, it's
Did
all
stovetop. Did you ever try the air fryer?
I have one, and I mean, you probably could have cooked some of the things, and ancillary to the entire meal, but there was a lot of prep stuff going on, right? So you had to make little concoction mixes for seasoning and flavoring and basting and whatever-ing that you had to do to it. So you couldn't really do it all in an air fryer, although it probably would have worked just fine. I tried to play by the rules. I tried to go step by step.
Did you learn anything, though? Did you learn how to cook a little better?
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I learned that I can make a few things outside of my general scope, which would be very small and a microcosm, a very minute microcosm of the entire cooking world. I've branched out. I can do a few more things. Yeah.
So Tim, you'll start having recipe posts on your Facebook page.
Yeah, actually next week this is no longer a vaping show, it's a cooking show. So y'all get prepared for that.
Tim's gonna have his camera set up in his kitchen for it.
Yeah.
Let me know.
It's a backup for the Vape Mail Ban, kids.
Yeah, it's a backup. We're just gonna, we'll back. It'll turn into a beer and cooking show. So
there you go.
We'll just
I
do
am
beer
in for that 100%.
Yeah, beer tasting and cooking show.
Well, when it comes to beer tasting, I'm all in for that. If you guys want to have me guest in on that one.
Heck yeah, that'd be great. There's actually quite a few of those channels out there, and they're actually very, very popular channels. So if someone is looking to start a channel, that's a great channel to start, as a beer tasting channel. Tom, how is Mr. Tom doing?
Doing pretty good. Got my laundry done today. Getting ready for my trip in June. Slowly.
June.
Well,
you're way better prepared than I ever was.
Well, I got to get my vaccine shots. That's one requirement for where I'll be staying.
Oh,
so,
that's right. That's going to be required. I think that's going to be the next thing that's going to be actually sticking around after COVID's all settled. Is, do you have your shot papers so you can travel?
Well, with people being stuck for the last year, I mean, the least I can do is go ahead and get 2 shots.
Yeah, but you're good. You're going to a state that doesn't care.
Right.
You're going to
They,
Texas.
they love freedom.
You don't have to shot. You don't need no shot.
No, like I said, for where I'll be staying, which is with my sister-in-law, that is her
you gotta
requirement. So
Yeah, you got to be careful.
yeah, I'm going to follow her rules because she's a German redhead, and I don't want to piss her off.
Yeah, you don't want to piss her. No, you don't want to piss her off.
Nothing good would happen.
Yeah, you don't want to piss her off. And our guest tonight, Mike. How are you doing, Mike?
We're doing fantastic over here at SilverBack, honestly.
Nice.
Don't want to toot our own horn or anything, but we did just receive our acceptance from the FDA today, and it's been a pretty exciting day for us. A lot of time, blood. I mean, you name it, has gone into this, and we're just beyond excited for all of it. Jessica, thank you for the shout out.
Yeah.
I think I actually processed your order if you ordered through our site.
Did you autograph it for her?
It didn't say packed by Mikey?
Yeah, come on, Mike.
Come on now.
Come on.
I saw a question earlier on, coming from Morgan, asking about the vape mail ban. Yeah, so we do actually have a ticker on our website notifying you guys when we are officially shutting down our retail website, unfortunately. It's a sad day for us. We've been providing to quite a bit of people for a long time. I was talking to John about this. We've had some vets that we've provided to in the past, for the past 5-6 years, that we've shipped to them.
Uh-oh, did we lose you?
I think, I'm just down there.
Yeah, there you go. There you are.
Fell off the screen.
We were advised by the law firm that we're working with for the PACT Act and the ATF registration to go ahead and shut down consumer sales on March 22nd. So at midnight on March 22nd, our site will officially shut down to all retail sales. You'll still be able to check out the product information. You can also, as you saw on the screen, refer your favorite shop.
Yeah.
So if any you got a shop close to you and you guys don't have it on their shelves, just put a submission in. We'll reach out to them, see what we can do about getting them samples and stuff. Maybe getting them set up with some orders or something. But I mean, what else? Did I miss anything?
No. You're good. We'll go ahead and start the interview here. And what we'd like to do is we want you to tell us your journey, how you got started vaping, and what device you were using, what juice helped you get off smoking, and if you still use that juice. If not, which one are you using now?
So the biggest thing I'd say as far as starting vaping, I started vaping when I was 18 years old. Unfortunately, I was part of those children that everybody hates right now, that at 16 years old, I was smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
I wasn't smoking a lot, but as I got older, it gradually got more and more. And by the time I got to 18, I was smoking about 2 packs a week, and it just kept progressing. A buddy of mine introduced me to a vape pen, an Ego Twist, and it was grape flavored, and I thought it was fantastic. It did the job that I expected it to do from a cigarette, and it was a snowball effect. It just kept going and growing, and visited my first vape shop from opposed to visiting a smoke shop, and went into mech mods, and got to know how our industry is in general, where we're just a family at the end of the day. You're talking 8 years ago now. The valley itself, it's a small community where we're at, and vape shops brought that community together even more. We had events, we had all these things happening, and we just dug our heels in deep, and we loved it, and we just continued to pursue our dreams. And for me, I've always been somebody that's been about business. My boss has always been somebody that believed that whatever you set your mind to, you could accomplish. And he's definitely done that, and we're excited to be here, and we're excited to be at the stage that we're at and see the growth from where we were, several years back.
Now that's not your journey, though. I want to know your journey. Your journey. Yeah.
My journey.
Know how you got started. Did someone say, "Hey, try this out," or did you just come across it at a convenience store, thrift store, flea market? How did you go from smoking cigarettes to vaping? And,
so I'll revert back to the beginning there. 18 years old, smoking cigarettes. A buddy of mine, same thing. smoking cowboy killers. I'm sure you guys know what those are called. For those of you that don't, Marlboro Red 100s.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, the nicotine was definitely there, and it's definitely an addiction in its way. So he found this vape, and it worked for him. And he's like, you know what, give it a shot. Let's go get you one. It was like $110 that I paid, which is
Yeah.
insane compared to the prices that we get that type of stuff for now.
Now.
But went and dropped about $150, and I thought, it's a step into the future. It's something different, and I gave it a shot. And ever since that day, I don't regret it. I've never stepped back.
Yeah.
And it's just been nothing but growth for me personally as well. One of the biggest things is that I've had asthma since I was a child. So smoking itself is definitely not something you should be doing. But with vape, I've never had a problem. As a matter of fact, I set down my inhaler about 7 years ago. I haven't touched it since.
Oh, nice. See, I hear a lot of people that have had asthma that have switched over to smoking have said the same thing. And it's just like, why hasn't someone done a study on that?
Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of studies that we're questioning on why they haven't been done.
Yeah.
But just the way that we are as far as the pandemic goes, I'm
Yeah.
not questioning it at this point,
Yeah, right. Yeah. No.
But
no.
I mean, going from there, the community, like I said, I entered my first vape shop was Cool Vapes, and I met the people that owned it. I met the employees, and they treated me like family. I mean, within moments of meeting them, I spent all my off time there when I wasn't going to school. I was going to a local college there, and I had about 4-hour breaks between classes. So I'd lounge around and ended up helping them out every time they got a good influx of customers. I knew my fair knowledge about the stuff. My background when I was in high school, I went to a science, technology, engineering, mathematics school. So I had a lot of background into DC and AC electronics. So when it came to the building portion, resistance, ohms, current, all that kind of stuff, amperage, I knew all the formulas that went behind it and everything and that such. So it was definitely something that helped me in the process. Now working with them, there were some ups and some downs. Everybody faces that with their first few jobs,
Yeah.
So they finally asked me to come on board as an actual employee from versus volunteer
Yeah.
after a couple of months. And I worked with them, and a few months later, they sold the company to what would be Vape Station now. And I got the opportunity to meet the owner of that company, which is the owner of this company now. And we sat down, had a talk, and in all honesty, I know he's probably watching this, and I don't think he'll get upset that I mentioned this. I definitely was not prepared to walk into a job interview when I first met him. Like I said, I lounged around the shop. So when they reopened the shop under a different name, it was pretty much the same vibes, lounge around, especially if you're going to buy something in vape, whatever the case may be. I got along with the manager at that time, and he needed help. He needed a part-timer to come in, and he had met me in the past. And, I was the type of person, and I still kind of am, where when I'm lounging, I got time off. I'm in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. I'm not dressed fancy or anything. And, the manager calls me and he says, hey, you know what? Can you come by the shop? I need your help with something. And I showed up and I was just like, okay, what's going on? Like, what do you need my help with? At the time I was doing rewrap batteries. Like, so thinking, okay, maybe he needs me to wrap some batteries for him or something. He's like, no, actually take a seat. Your boss my boss currently, Charlie's here. He wants to have a talk with you. We have an open position, seeing if you might be interested in giving it a shot. And it's like, well, yeah, then what kind of questions you got for me? And, they asked me the basic, interview questions. Where do you see yourself going? And, how long have you been in the industry as far as like what you've done and the whole 9 yards, right? I'll put it to you this way. If it wasn't for that manager that gave his word for me in the terms of, he's a good kid, he knows what he's doing, he's got his head on straight, I did not impress the owner. I mean, for you guys there,
Yeah.
everybody out there, think of this. You're a business owner looking for somebody to come in as a sales representative for your shop, customer service representative essentially. And he showed up to the interview in sandals, shorts, not even nice shorts. You know, you're talking about your Sunday holy shorts
Yeah.
and a freshly stained Clorox shirt.
Oh.
So I did not set a very good first impression. So he stuck his head out there for me. The manager, I'll always be grateful to him, and they gave me a shot.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. There's something you said earlier when you said that you were in the shop as just a kind of helper. And that's the one thing I noticed when I first went into the vape shop. There was lots of people that were helpers that didn't work there. And it's just so weird. You know, you don't get that in any other retail store. You know, I can go into Home Depot and think you work there and ask, and someone will just give you a dirty look like, hey, you think, you know, do you think I could use this socket? They'll just kind of look at you like, I don't know, you know, but you go in the vape shop, everybody's got an answer for something, dude. You could just, hey, what are you vaping on? This is what I use. And you know, and it's just like, boom. And yeah, so it was kind of cool hearing you say that. Tim or Brian or Tom, any of you guys got a question for Mike?
Not just yet.
Not just yet.
okay.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the company history, how it got started, and your plans for the future here coming up with all these changes coming into effect.
So am I mute? No, I didn't mute. Okay, I was vaping.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So the company started about. I mean, you're talking when I first started. Just like I told you, you know, the shop. He bought that shop, and at the time we were already manufacturing juice through Vape Station's name, essentially the name of the shop. And we slowly made our way into private manufacturing about a year or so later with the co-packer, and it blew up from there. I spoke with you way earlier about this, but you know, we placed our first order, you know, just for our stores. You know, we wanted to get, you know, nice bottles. We wanted to be that shop in town that manufactured their juice that had, you know, something like we have now, like, you know,
Yeah.
bottles that are nice, presentable
clean.
bottles, tells you the what the ingredients are, the warnings, you know, telling you 18 plus, abiding by rules that didn't even exist yet, you know,
Yeah.
like doing all these extra steps to ensure that, you know, if anything happened in the future, we'd be okay.
Right. Right.
And you know, that's something that we took pride in. You know, we did it at the shops too, and people would be upset. They would walk in like, well, the shop down the street doesn't care if I'm 17. It's like, well, we have the right to refuse service to anybody, and this is a nicotine product, and we're going to treat it like a cigarette.
Yep.
And you're not 18, we're going to go ahead and ask you to leave.
Yep.
But it just grew from there. You know, we went to our first show in San Antonio with just about every single bottle of juice we ordered for the shops. As a matter of fact, like
That
they
was
didn't
a
even
cool
make it to the
story.
shelves.
That was a cool
Yeah.
story. You could tell that again because that's a really cool story. Yeah.
So we pretty much we loaded up all of the bottles of juice that we had into the back of I had a Mustang at the time. I'm sure if anybody knows how big a Mustang is, not very big. And then a Honda Accord, and it was a caravan style. It was myself, a couple of other employees for the stores, and the owner of the company. And we drove up to San Antonio. We were invited by the private manufacturer that was doing everything for us in California. They told us, come out here, check it out. You know, just bring some stuff with you if you want to try and sell some stuff. It may be worth your while. Mainly, we want to see what's going on. You know, we want to see if we can get some other companies to manufacture with us. So like, sure, why not? Let's give it a shot. So we had no plan whatsoever other than let's get there. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out pricing. We know more or less what wholesale is at the time. Let's try and make this happen. So we get there, we set everything up. We probably rolled in with like 300 bottles of each flavor, and we were there the whole weekend. We were there for Saturday and Sunday. We set up. We got there just in time. But one thing about where we're from is we're about 5 minutes from the border. We're deep South Texas. If anybody's familiar with it, South Padre Island is like our most notorious attraction, especially during spring break.
Spring break.
So that's how far south we are. An hour driving out from the valley, you'll hit a checkpoint. And the checkpoint essentially is just to make sure you're a U.S. citizen. It's nothing like crossing the border or anything. They're just checking if you're a U.S. citizen. The dog walks around your car, check if you have anything bad. And we raised some red flags. You got a Mustang all blacked out, you know, dropped to the floor basically because of all the weight that's in the vehicle. And then you've got a Honda Accord, you know, black wheels, all white, and dropped to the floor, basically also loaded with juice. And is just like, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. And at that time, there was just no knowledge of it. They had a basic idea of what vaping was, but to break it down, and we were there for quite some time. But we made it to the destination in San Antonio. We unloaded everything, and we had a great show. We had testers, we had people interested. We walked out of that show Sunday night with just the laptop that I brought, that we had put a commercial on, essentially, for the juices that we were releasing into the stores on replay, and just a lot of people interested. Our Texas presence grew that day. As a matter of fact, about 90% of the people that picked up the juice that day still work with us to this day.
Oh, nice. I was going to ask you, did any of the Border Patrol ask to sample any of this stuff? But did any of them drip some on their finger, like, to make sure it was what it was? That would have been hilarious.
No, they didn't. I think that would have been great too. But now, honestly, like now driving up and stuff like that, I've got on my truck, I've got SilverBack Juice Co. on the side. And,
right.
Back when I had the Mustang, I had the same thing. I had SilverBack Juice Co. and be like, hey, man, you got any free samples? Because now they vape. So they'd be asking us for stuff. As far as Canada goes, I know we have a shop in Canada that actually has our juice. It's going to be a plug for them. Is that okay, John?
Yeah.
They private manufactured in Canada to ensure that everything went smoothly. Their shop name is actually Vapor Station as well. I believe their website is thevaporstation.ca, if I'm not mistaken. But they do ship and everything within Canada.
Oh, within Canada, yeah, because you have to have all that. There are different labels and different ways that you have to, different things you have to have on the bottle, I think, in Canada, right?
Yeah, it's got to be in French and in English, actually.
French and English, that's it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is so weird.
It's actually a really cool looking bottle, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's very nice, very presentable. They love it out there. We're trying to get a bigger presence out there, seeing if we can reach out to other areas. I think they may be in Alberta, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just a matter of finding out where we can go from here. We've already started manufacturing everything to have it ready to ship to Canada. So it's just a matter of finding the shops that are willing to take it, and it refers back to that button on our webpage. Refer your favorite shop, and we'll reach out to them. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. It's got to be. I mean, because you don't really have a lot of real estate on that label, and now you got to put it in English and in French, dude.
It's so. The best part about it was that we do have some of the best connections to help us do that in this industry. Yeah. We're also tight knit, so we were able to share some basic requirements. Seen Jefferson, Henry, Mike, what was the first vape juice you ever vaped? It was actually made by Juicy, and it was just grape.
Just grape.
And I tried it out a couple years later because they were still making it. It came in a 5 ml bottle. I mean, it was meant for those little carts, So it came in a 5 ml bottle. I tried it a couple years later. You're talking now at this point. We got sub-O mods, and it's like a 18 milligram nicotine. So I mean, that was the worst idea I've ever did. I tried it. It was horrid as far as the nicotine goes. It was horrid as far as the flavor goes. And I was just like, I definitely made the right choice by coming to a vape shop and staying away from smoke shops now.
I went from I started when I first started, it was the blues, and then I started seeing juice. But here in Modesto, the only juice I could find was from Zigzag. So Zigzag, the manufacturer of the paper, made juice and a pen. So, and I saw it at a gas station. So that was my transition from blue to those things first. And it was their juice. And it was like $15 for a 10 mil bottle.
Good
and
gravy.
they were just, yeah, but that was the only juice. And then I started, then the kiosk showed up in the mall, and then switched to Vapor, and a couple of the other shops started moving into Modesto. But I was buying Zigzag juice, and they little bottles, man. And everybody's like, dude, don't they make like paper? I said, yeah, they make weed paper. Yeah, they make paper for joints, or cigarettes. Sorry, for cigarettes. But yeah, I mean, that was it. And I tasted it not too long ago myself, and I was like, Jesus, man, I vaped this shit. I was like, God.
I think we've all had that experience, though.
I mean, realistically though, the second vape juice I tried, they're still around to date. Actually, it's oh my God, I know who they're manufactured by. I just can't remember the actual name of it. It'll come back to me later. I'll bring it back. But their juice wasn't too shabby, and it's still around to this day, actually.
Yeah.
You know, because it was pre PMTA, all that. They got the acceptance letter and everything. You know, it's been around for quite some time, so it's been great. Flavors United manufactures it, but I can't remember the name of it. I mean, there were white boxes, 15 ml bottles.
Yeah.
But Paul Fisher, Mike, what do you think of Canada's vaping laws? If you know anything about them. So for Canada, I'm not 100% familiar with it. Right now, we're looking a lot into what's going on in the state of Texas. We are a part of SFATA Texas and AVM and a few other advocacy groups. So right now, we're a bit focused on Texas because we are a Texas-based company, and there's litigation that there is a possibility of a tax coming for vapor products in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to fight it, and it's something that's in the process, you know. But as far as Canada vaping laws, I guarantee I'll be reading up on those within the next 3-4 weeks. Once
Yeah.
we get past this PACT Act portion, at least.
Hey, have you been shipping any of your product overseas as well? Is
Uh,
SilverBack anywhere else?
so we're in actually several countries. One of
Nice.
our biggest one is Australia, a lot of South America, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, Mexico. Brazil, just about every single country in South America and Central America has our juice. We actually have another facility, or had another facility for distribution in Mexico until they outlawed vaping. So
Yeah, that's so
a lot of
weird.
the companies now just they purchase and go through forwarders, but we've been trying our best to see what we can do about getting an exemption with the government in Mexico. So it's definitely a process. It's a little bit longer of a process than the U.S. for sure.
Yeah. That is so weird that they banned vape. Well, I mean, a lot of their money is tobacco money in that country, so they would rather, it's the same situation we're in, but they have more powers than say well, I can't
Have,
say they have more power because look what we're going
I was
through,
gonna
but
say, have you ever seen a pack of cigarettes in Mexico? Actually,
yeah, pretty nasty.
well, no, not the cigarettes itself, but the packaging.
No, I've never
So,
seen it.
so the way they package them is they still have that wrap, the plastic wrap around them and everything, but they're actually required, if I'm not mistaken, to have essentially images of black lung, kids
Oh, wow.
coughing, like any gruesome image you could think of, essentially
Hmm.
that will put you away from smoking the cigarette.
Yeah.
For somebody that wants to try a different juice, Jefferson Henry. Okay, so I'll be 100% honest. I have been vaping the same juice for the past 4 years, and it's actually a juice that we manufacture. I've requested gallons of it essentially, but I never get approved for that because it's not PMTA approved.
Come on, come
But
on.
I vape BPM from the drop. It's one of our lines. It's a blueberry grapple candy e-liquid. So a grapple it's an apple that's mixed with a grape. It's something that's more popular on the northeast of the United States, but it does exist. It's crazy,
It
but
does exist.
it's delicious. Essentially, it's a green apple with blueberry, grape, and candy, and it's been my absolute favorite juice. I was telling John earlier. I showed him my desk. I've got a graveyard of them on my desk. Like, I mean, that's just one handful. Like,
What are you doing a day? Do you keeping track at all or you don't care?
no, 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 no. I try to minimize it as much as possible. I mean, my boss will kill me if I go through more than a bottle a week.
Yeah, yeah. A bottle a week, that's not bad. If you think
Nah, I
it's
think that's
60 or
respectable.
120, you're talking. Hold on. Yeah, wait a minute.
Those look
60 or
like 60s to me.
It's a 60. It's definitely
Okay.
a 60. But I mean, I've got 6 bottles of the empty ones, right?
Yeah,
Empty,
empty.
upside down on this other stand that I got on
Do
my
you
right
realize
stand. So I mean, I make sure they are absolutely empty before they even touch the trash can.
my son walked by my desk and he goes, "Why is that bottle upside down on top of your RDA, Dad?" And I was like, "I guess I want every single last drop that's in that bottle."
Don't you dare touch that
Don't
bottle.
touch that bottle. Let it finish dripping into my RDA. It's just gonna sit there. And he's just looking, he's just shaking his head. He's just like, "I don't get you. You got all this juice. Just grab another bottle." I go, "No, I want every drop that's left in that one right there."
Yeah, it doesn't take long to blow up a 60 ml bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're MTL vaping on Nick salts or something, freebase. pfft.
I go, yeah, I vape 6 milligrams, and it does its job for me. I try to minimize it as much as possible. I mean, also, being caught up with work all the time, and I've got a kid at home as well. I don't vape as much as I used to, and I think it's a good thing though. It's slowly straying away from it, and that was the end goal. Was to get off of it. I mean, I started at a 36 milligram. 8 years back, 7 years back. Wait, hold on. Let me do the math. No, yeah, 8 years now.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm still coming to accept that I'm 26 now and not 25 anymore.
Oh.
You're pushing over the hill there.
Yeah.
It's all,
pushing
Tim,
past
tell
the
him it's
quarter.
all downhill after 25.
Yeah,
It's
just
the knees start
look at what
buckling.
you have to look forward to on the top corners. This is
Hey,
you get
this-
me and John.
This is why I'm wearing a hat. Bald runs in my family. I've got some nice double driveways going on right here.
I was going to say, you don't walk around in the warehouse and go, oops, that bottle fell to the ground. We can't sell that one.
No.
Knocking stuff. Oh, wait, that touched the ground. I'm going to have to keep that one. Oh, look, it's my flavor too. Wow, look at that.
So I have a question for Mike.
Good.
Yeah.
So with the PMTAs and everything, you said it was a rather eventful day for you in the world of PMTAs. Has the company had to scale back or trim back any of their product line for out of cost, really? Because I know the PMTAs weren't a cheap process.
So we did scale back. We actually lost 2 of our flavors. There were 3 flavors that we were able to keep that it's a surprise. They were on international market and they were in our stores, you're talking 6 years ago. So, prior, so it passed through PMTA. So those are going to be a surprise. It's going to be coming soon within the next month or so. It's going to be definitely a shock to everybody because I know people are going to, how are they coming out with new juice? It's not new juice. It's just relabeled. That's all it is. So, but we did trim out 2 products. So one of them was from the line from the drop. It was called Arc. And another one was from our Gold series, which is our tobacco line. It's called King.
Yeah.
Those were discontinued. The good thing about the way that the PMTA process and all that, when it took effect, was we were allowed to sell what we had left of our stock, as so long as it was manufactured prior to the deeming date for submission. So some people have gotten some crazy good deals. We had them on sale for $10 for quite some time.
Nice.
And we sold out of all the King in 3 and 6. We've got zeros left. And I know Arc, I think we've got maybe like 10 bottles of each left in 0, 3, and 6.
Oh, good.
So
that's good. At least you got a chance to get rid of that stuff. And plus, I think they gave you a year, right?
yeah, they give us a year. So, I mean,
Yeah,
we
so
still
that's
got
good.
plenty of time. But,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we've got until Monday now at this point.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much.
Did the pause in the PMTA review process cause any jitter in any of that? I mean, because I know that the Biden administration had effectively put it on hold for 90 days and froze all of that as they reviewed the final rules.
It did not. It's essentially what it did put a pause in how long it took us to get our acceptance letter. I know a lot of people that submitted around the same time that we did that got their acceptance letter, a couple months back, but they're very backtracked. There was plenty of companies, plenty of friends of mine in the industry that I know that have submitted PMTAs for, close to, 9,000 SKUs. So I can only imagine what the FDA is going through. It's a discussion I had about a year ago prior to COVID happening, was that the average person, 1,000-page, something that's 1,000 pages,
Yeah.
could probably read that in maybe nonstop, I don't know, 12 hours. So you could just think about all the pages that are going to be submitted with every single product. It could take years.
And that includes hardware also.
Yeah,
Yeah, includes
exactly.
They were hiring. I was telling people to go down to the FDA and get vapors to go over there and get hired and just start putting pass stickers.
That's what I would have done. I would have just went to like Uline and bought one of those approved stamps and just sat there all day long. Approved.
They were looking to hire people to review those all that paperwork, and I was thinking, well, man, we should just get a whole bunch of vapors just to go down there and apply and to just pass everything, just pass.
They probably would have been checking for that during during the interview
Until
process.
you'll just keep
Do
going
you
until you
vape?
get fired.
Yes.
Yes. Like,
Sorry.
Get the
Next.
fuck out of here.
I don't think they do a voir dire process. I think it's just a straight up interview.
Yeah. It'd be just like, John, you just passed 30,000 bottles of e-liquid. I think you need to go.
Employee of the month, right there.
Employee of the month.
Employee of the month, right
I
there.
get to park by the door. I
Yeah.
get to park by the front door.
Oh man.
See, yeah, I'm telling you, they should have done it. When they put that out there that they actually needed help and they were looking to hire people to go through all this paperwork that was coming in there, I was thinking to myself, man, this is a perfect opportunity. Just get a whole bunch of vapors just to go down there and flood them with applications to give nobody a chance. Just 60, 80,000 vapors, just go down there and apply for that one
Heck
job.
yeah. What your options would have been COVID tracer or PMTA approval process. I would have. You already know what I would have gone for.
Would have been stamping all those fuckers through. I was like, go, 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 go. Well, except the E-line company.
Oh, that was a loan for a house. Oh, sorry.
There would have been a couple companies I would have said denied to. I mean, don't get me wrong. There would have been a couple.
Well, I mean, it is definitely a process for everybody. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for everybody in the industry, and getting to the point where we got the acceptance. I'm sure the owner got a little bit teary-eyed to see something that he built, along with everybody that's here in the company. We all got a little bit emotional. Like, you know what, we actually made it. We did everything we could.
It's huge. I mean, that's a big landmark for you guys. I mean, just because of all the stuff that's been going on for the last 10 years, and then you're thrown this at you, and it's like, okay, this is my livelihood. Either I either going to have to do this, or I'm just going to have to step away and just lose everything. And for a lot of those people, it's just like they weren't just doing it for business and money. They were doing it because they really wanted to help people. And there's a lot of companies that were in that situation. Like, I really want to help people get off smoking, but I can't afford to move to this next level. And it just, those companies are gone. And
some of them stuck around.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were one of the few. There's a few out there I can speak on behalf of that I know for a fact that we're excited that they got to stick around with us. I mean, Joe is a prime example. You're wearing the hat right now, Barista Brew Co. They've been brothers to us. They've been family to us since the very beginning. And we've all done it to the point where we wanted to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to actually, quit smoking. And as a matter of fact, Charlie Gaitan here, that's my boss. It was a step in the right direction.
Hey, let's give him a hand. Yeah, no, I mean, you guys, let everybody know you guys manufacture Barista Brew Co., correct?
No. So we're manufactured by the same manufacturer. We're just it's two separate companies. That's all it is. But we're very close friends with them. Charlie's very close friends with the owner of Barista. I'm very close friends with Joe. I mean, they were just here not too long ago in December, as a matter of fact.
You and Joe could be brothers. You guys got
Oh man, if he's in here, I just don't want to be bald like him.
Yeah, he lost it fast, didn't he? He lost it fast.
Well, I'm getting there.
24. We're talking combs there. I don't know what these guys are talking about. I have to go back. I think they're talking about the Noisy Cricket, which was a mod that I didn't play around with too much after I've seen what it does if it's not done right. So I kind of I think we all had Noisy Crickets. I think
was
not me. I never had one.
Never
had one.
Was that the
Wismac Noisy Cricket?
The double 18650 series mod?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! Throwback memories.
Yeah. The stick of dynamite.
No, I was gonna say a throwback would be throw forward as well, because if it went wrong, you gotta chuck that sucker. They set us up for failure right there.
And I actually think I have 4 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait, hold on. Are they in full or are they pieces?
No, they're all whole except for the bottom plate. You know how it flip flops like this. It's gotten a little corroded on a few of them, so I've had to take a few of them apart. But I've got all the pieces to make 4 of them.
Brian's parting out crickets.
Well, I had one that had a bad top part, and so I was taking them apart to flip flop pieces around because you can do that on those things. And then
Yeah.
I've had people like, I just don't want mine. You want them? I'm like, I don't care. Sure, whatever. So I had a few friends give them to me. So yeah,
That was a huge seller for
Yeah.
Wismec. As
Yeah.
as much as the 300 was, that thing sold like crazy. And the problem was people that were buying it had no clue what they were getting themselves into, and that was the biggest problem. And it's just like, oh, can I put a .1 in here? No, you cannot put a .1 in here, dude. No, no.
All right, so I'll take you guys far back then. Do you guys remember the God mod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We received that in the midst of when everything was happening was nothing but mech mod. So it comes back round circle to the, can I put a .14? Can I put a .12? So as the company, as the employees in the shop at the time, right? You know, we're like, you guys got to try it out first. Figure it out. Figure out what you can do. That's this. Oh, wow. That's old school.
Smock Magneto.
And so I was trying to get the top of the off the top of my head.
Zachary,
But,
that's even too low, Zach, for a noisy cricket. A
you're looking.
.24.
You got to look more
Point
like
point
0.4.
three point three
0.4.
ohms is the very lowest.
Yeah, 0.3, and I always put either a 0.5 or a 0.6 in mine. I mean, you know, I know some people want it boom in your face right now. I just there's just no way. That was just
I
too hot.
definitely went with 0.4 being the lowest always when I
Yeah.
tried the noisy cricket builds.
Yeah.
But that God mod, essentially, we built it. We didn't know what the hell we were doing, and so we set fire to the cotton, even though it was drenched. And it was a call to the vendor right away. We're gonna return these for credit, and we need some more mech mods because this is not happening.
Well,
The worst thing that ever happened to me was I have a tendency to, like, when I have everything wicked and juiced and ready to go and everything, I click the button real quick to make sure the batteries work, and it goes poof real quick, and like, all right, I'm good to go. My bad habit of that was pushing the button, and I would bring some mods around with me, and I had a series box on, and I had cotton put in it ready to go, no juice on it. And so I did my normal pick it up, push the button, all of a sudden flames come up. I'm like, well, time to change everything. That sucked.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Happened.
there's just so many memories from back in the day. I mean, we're in definitely a safer era. But I think the biggest mistake a lot of people still make is charging their mods with the USB. You know, that's just something that just has not changed for a lot of people. So, is John frozen, or is he just keeping?
He does look frozen. I don't know. It's like Weekend at Bernie's right now. I swear. He looked. And you know what? He's the one guy on the whole show that probably has the most tech out of all of us. So, lesson for you kids: more tech doesn't win. I'm just saying. Yeah, no,
This coming from the guy with a smart house.
all of us kind of came from that
Hey,
same era. So I mean, I've been vaping for about 8 years myself. Like John, started with the blue e-cig. My trigger was a guy where I worked across the hall. He got a shipment in one day, and he's like, "Hey man, you got to come see this." And I don't know if he got blue as well, or maybe he got V2 or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, what is?" I'd never heard of it. I mean, I'd been smoking since I was early teens, and he was a smoker too. And he wanted to try vaping, and so that was my trigger. So I started with the blues, and then from there it was just a gradual progression. It was like, okay, well, you got to try like the next product that looks like it's better than blue, because I struggled with blue. I mean, it just wasn't. It wasn't equivalent to smoking, and how I felt about it. I mean, it was okay, but there was a lot of stigma around it too. It was kind of like, okay, I've got this cool little heavy metal thing that's not as easy to hang out of your mouth, and the blue light lights up on the front of it and all that stuff. And I just remember, people around me being like, "Oh, I wouldn't take that into a bar," because you might be ridiculed just for looking like you pussed out or something like that. And but yeah, I mean, I just kind of stuck with it and went through the rotations, and I did everything that everybody else did. Went through like the Chinese clone mechs and and all of the fakey RDAs, and just like Paul Fisher with I had all the ego twists, and Then I started getting into the Anakin regulated mods, like when vape pens were kind of getting bigger and more fancy, like the M134, the Anakin M134, and the Anakin VTR, and the SVD. No, not venereal disease, guys. It's just it was. I don't even know what it stood for. SVD. It was like a telescoping kind of like
Secret vape
stick
device.
mod. It was like a stick. Yeah, it was just a larger version of like a vape pen. Really, is kind of like what it was, but it telescoped. I think you could use 18 350s in it and stacked 18 650s in it. But I think it only did like what 3 point. It was like 3 point. You go up to like 3.6 volts or something like that, but you were only getting, I don't know. I mean, you weren't blowing clouds off the thing. That's all I'm saying. It was silica wick and plastic cardos and the whole nine. And so
So
I stuck
men-
with all of that.
menthol's best friend essentially cracked that plastic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Juice was a toughie. I mean, that was the hardest thing for me. I never really got exposed to the vape shop experience like a lot of people did. I remember the kiosks in the mall, but I didn't really venture close to those. I think I may have bought an Aspire tank from one of them at some point with the Nautilus. I think I might have bought the Nautilus from a kiosk, but I just never really had the opportunity. I never went to a vape shop. I never got to sit down and do like, when they used to be able to taste test in the vape shops, they'd have like, 40 or 50 flavors and little 2 mil cardos. I never got to do that. So my experience with Juice was more about just going on YouTube and watching YouTube reviews of people telling you how good this was and the flavor notes here and this on the inhale and that on the exhale, and like, man, that sounds good. And then you'd spend $20 and you'd get a 30 mil bottle and it tastes like junk. And you're like, now what am I gonna do? I'm like $300 in the hole buying 30 mil bottles at $20 a pop. Yes, sir. Hold on. Can't hear you, Tom. You're muted.
Better?
Yes.
Paul was saying there's a dill pickle juice.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Disgusting.
Where would one get dill pickle juice, Paul?
It's probably somewhere in Canada.
No, they've had a lot of weird juices out there, and dill pickle was one of them. I didn't try it. I knew of it, and I just said no. But there's people out there who are like, I'll try anything.
I mean, in our area, for Hispanics wise, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Menudo. Okay, well, there was a shop local here. I mean, he retired, old man retired. He wasn't even from the valley. He had the shop for quite a few years. He had a juice that was Menudo flavored. I tried that, and I'll be damned. It definitely tasted like Menudo. But
Nope.
I tried my fair share of weird stuff. I don't think I'd ever tried dill pickle though. I did want to touch base on Jefferson's Henry on that question though.
Yeah.
Right now, it is not against the law to buy vape juice online. Basically, what happened was the COVID relief bill that passed in December amended the PACT Act to include vapor products. And there's a 90-day window that USPS has to implement rules for B2B shipments. But essentially what it did is it banned B2C shipments. So it's not illegal to buy it, but there is a very lengthy process in order to ship it to you. Essentially, anybody that's going to carry out shipping to consumers through online sales is going to have to register with every single state, city, county, town, whatever it may be, to make sure that every single tax is pushed over to where it needs to go. That's where the ATF steps in and makes sure all those taxes are paid. That's why it's a little bit more of a risky move, and a lot of us have decided that we're going to let the bigger retail companies step in and take place and do their thing on that part. Our website is going to shut down Monday. I mentioned it earlier. I don't know how many people are in here now. But there are discount codes on our website for you guys to take advantage of. On Monday, it'll be at midnight. It will close down. There, you won't be able to register. You'll still be able to log in, see flavor profiles, but you won't be able to buy anything. We do hope you guys get your orders in. There's, I know we offer free shipping for residential addresses. So definitely check it out. If John was in here, I'm sure he would plug the website. I don't know how to use the system right now. I've been waiting for him to come back.
Yeah, well, John could have put up little banners and stuff. I'm sure he probably had some slides already set to kind of do that sort of stuff. Hopefully, he'll get back. I don't know why he had issues in California. I'm the one that's staring down the face of apparently high winds and potential hurricanes. But nothing's going on here. But it is a little ironic because I think there's a lot of misinformation that's going around regarding the vape mail ban. As a matter of fact, like you said, there are still some companies right now who just recently announced that they have located and been
That's the
able
right
to
one, right?
secure. Yes. Yeah, there you go. Locate and actually secure some form of local or national shipping service that's willing to go ahead and involve themselves in that process. So the PACT Act, and without going into a lot of detail about it, it doesn't mean, and I guess here's the irony, right? There's irony in the fact that, theoretically, if companies wanted to get into it, they could still ship cigarettes. I mean, if you wanted to get into that business, you could still ship cigarettes. It's just it's a lot of money and effort to invest in that path. So the PACT Act doesn't ban the mailing or shipping of e-liquid or vape supplies, coils, mods, tanks, what have you. It just makes the rules a lot more strict. And the problem that that the vape industry is having with that is there might be plenty of distributors or vendors or online wholesalers that might want to, even local smaller mom and pop type places that would love to still be able to ship. The problem is the shipping companies. They're the ones that are balking and backing out as well. So USPS right off the top, they're banned. They're going to be shut down by federal law. I mean, that's a given, right? They're gone by virtue of that. It's everyone else falling in line and following suit. And it's not surprising to see UPS, FedEx, and DHL take a similar stance, because I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's a lot of lawyers and legal people in their ear advising them to just stay as far away from it as they could possibly can. Not just because of the 21 and plus signature at the door. I mean, you could get duped on that all day long. You know what I mean? I mean, what UPS driver is really going to put a lot of effort, if he's busy and go for it, dude.
I got a comment on that one. As a matter of fact, I read a news report from Canada that it was a 18 plus delivery and a child signed for it at the door. It was a gun. It was a mistakenly delivered gun to their address, and it was 18 plus delivery, adult signature required on the label, and the postman left it there with the child. And that made headlines.
Yeah.
That was insane. So that, I can see where USPS is coming from, where they're not going to allow B2C. It's not so much that they can't trust the companies, but at the end of the day, sometimes you can't even trust the drivers, especially right now with COVID. For a while, quite some time, FedEx and UPS did not require signatures at all because of COVID. And it kept everybody safe at the end of the day. But that's what matters, is keeping everybody safe. But it also means, we're trying to keep it out of the hands of children at the end of the day.
Sure.
Now we've got a 21 plus requirement. So that's what we're focused on. We want to make sure everything's done right. And that's why we're going to have those companies available to you guys on the website. You'll be able to click on retail, and it'll link you to one of our partners that we know is doing everything correctly.
Yeah. And that's, again, I mean, for me, I think that's the biggest issue and why I see the big name companies kind of falling off, because something like that with the gun, that happens with e-liquid or vape stuff, and it gets out into the news or something like that, or this, whatever. I mean, that's lawsuit city. You know what I mean? And they just don't want their name smeared all over the evening news as being, this Trusted Brown is allowing kids to sign off. So here's a question back to Mike. What was the thing that we talked about last week, guys? I don't know if Mike's heard about this one, although I know it wouldn't impact him directly. maybe for online sales. But that article from last week that I was talking about, let me see if I can pull it from the vault real quick. I'll see if Mike's heard of this one. Hold on. It was called scroll.
I love that scroll. That sounds amazing.
The clicky. Where is it? One Account. Have you heard of that? It's called One Account.
One Account.
Yeah.
Let me look into that real quick.
So I'll give you a brief synopsis, right? So this is based out of the UK, right? So this isn't a US side, base side stuff yet, but it's a company that's developing technology that will assist in the purchasing process, both online and local retail sales, by virtue of an application thing that's called One Account. It's like a One Account verification. So if you go into a place to make an adult purchase of any kind, say you walk into, Joe's Vape down the street, it sounds to me like it's an app-based thing that gives you like a two-step authentication code. So when you get rung up in the system, they want you to produce this code that matches the system in order to validate that you're old enough to be buying that particular. I'm sure they could ID you as well, but it was an interesting article just for the simple fact that I think that my feeling is that now that the online element of it is, for the most part, been heavily corralled, the next shot is going to come at the point of sale purchase. The vape shops, they're going to get targeted heavily, and I know that that's a challenge for everybody with age verification.
On that note, I can talk about something that's very similar to it. Is what we've been using for a few years now. Is we use agechecker.net for our website. Now, of course, that's for our website. In our stores, we actually have a machine that you swipe their ID, and it'll actually tell you if it's a valid ID, if it's a real ID, if they're of the age to be in the store, etc. That kind of thing. We had to set it on the counter during COVID times for them to swipe themselves, and then we'd go from there. We didn't have anybody, come in with a fake ID. We got lucky with that. We've had a few people try and pass off like, oh no, I'm of age, but no, the age changed to 21. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. But Age Checker did play a vital role in our shop for the past, I want to say 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. What that does essentially is when you're going to check out on our website, if anybody does check out that's watching this, it'll pop up a window and start to ask you a little bit more personal information. So it'll ask you for your date of birth, it'll ask you for your address, and the address has to match your identification. And by the end of it, if they feel that you have sufficient information that you provided and stuff that they can find on their background check type of system that they have, you might get verified with just that. If not, they'll send you an email and a text message to request a photocopy of your ID. So you take a picture with your phone and send it to them, and then they'll verify it through that database like that. And if they can't verify the address or the name, if something's wrong, if the ID is expired, it'll automatically come up as denied. So that's what saved us a lot. We've seen some people, order, I guess, with their mom's credit card. And the order will go through, but it'll say a verification pending. So the money will be on hold until it gets verified. If it doesn't get verified, then that's when we start to contact them after 2 days. We will give them a call. Hey, want to give you a call about this order. And we've seen people. I've heard of people that use the system. They've run into an instance where they call, and it's a mom or a dad answering, and they're very confused. They don't know what's going on, and explaining the situation to them, they're like, "Well, I didn't order that," and come to find out it was their kid ordering under their name, and we were able to refund and cancel the order, and so on and so forth. And it's amazing what kids are willing to do to try and get these products. That's why we want to go with the trusted sites that are going to take stand and take initiative with what we're looking at in the next couple of months.
Right. Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough on a lot of people. Especially with the a lot has changed too. And to some degree, I also feel bad for a lot of the people that got kind of caught in the vacuum of it all. Like, you had a bunch of people that started vaping at like 18, 19 years old. They're still somewhere in between that land of 18 and 21, and then the laws changed all of a sudden, and now they got compromised by that as well. So a lot of people who knows what happened to them. I don't know if they went back to smoking or they're still getting it underneath the table. But I found it also interesting too that they attacked the online sales and exploited that as being the channel for how a lot of youth were quote unquote supposedly able to access and get their hands on vape products when data shows that they're not acquiring it from online. That's not where they're getting it from, let alone they're not even getting it from the C stores, not directly anyway. So it is a little confusing to understand why they decided to attack that particular market, the online market, because that's really not where the kids are acquiring their stuff from. They're getting it through other people who get it for them, or people they know actually give it to them or something like that. I remember Red Jewel Kid on Instagram. Remember all the uproar that he caused? So he would just get on Instagram and just ask people to send him stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's ways to beat the system left and right if you have an intention to get your hands on it. So I was just a little surprised that they decided to attack the shipping market first. I can understand how it may have eaten into the vape shop, revenue a little bit, just because people could get so many things cheaper online than actually going into the shops. But that's all about to change for a lot of people. You guys got any questions? Brian from North Dakota.
Just responding to some things in chat here, and I was ordering a few things today, and one I actually had to hold my ID up to my webcam, and it took a picture of it, and then it was good to go. And I think that was it's like Verify, I think it was that they were using.
There's a few different ones out there. Age checker. I'm seeing a Ricky Mahoney in here saying that he still got going through it, and it asked him for the pick. Some people don't get verified because of small discrepancies. I've seen because they wrote out South on their license and they put S on the address as far as when they were asked for it, instead of just writing out South fully like the way it is on their license. In those cases, they need to message the so like age, for us it's age checker. They're pretty prompt about going through things, and they just quickly message them, and they'll get it taken care of. They'll verify it, and they're like, okay, yeah, we see that it's just S for South, and it's South in full word. But yeah, it's like you said, webcam can take the photo. You could do it from your phone. There's various different things out there, and that's what we love about using it. We use it with our wholesale clients as well, just to make sure they're 21.
Yeah, I know. I had to send some meds to my daughter quite a while back, and I sent it through, I think it was FedEx, I think at the time. No, it was USPS. And I actually had them put on there, 21 plus, and they received it, and I got the notification that she signed for it, not her mom. And so to me, I think in my head, this was 6 months ago, I think, Tim? I think I talked to you guys about that.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I know that it happens. I know that they don't actually do the age check and so that, or the parents there are saying, yeah, it's okay, have them sign it. And, on the age thing, the kid still signs it. So I mean, that could be it too. But the thing is though, like if they're stopping the sending and receiving of the packages and stuff, there is a lot of variables at play, because you can't, monitor every single delivery driver and exactly everything that they're doing and stuff. So, I mean, it's hard to kind of deal with, and and mistakes gonna happen. But I'd rather try to figure out a way that people can still get their stuff and still have everything be verified, and so people can still receive everything. And that's what I would like to see what would happen, but I don't think that's gonna.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying it's a bit ironic, because the online channel was never really a cesspool for underage kids just hoarding in and getting tons of vape stuff. You can go and look at, you can look at data studies that, where they poll kids in school and ask them where they get the stuff. And I think it was only like a very small portion, like anywhere between 1% and 2%, that acquired their products through online stores. I mean, and we're talking about names that people are familiar with, which tells me one thing, that the age validations and the checkers are doing their job, right? So that means that stuff is being bottlenecked. So, they're not getting their hands on. Plus, I would be willing to bet there's probably not a whole lot of kids that are, well, maybe there are, I don't know, that are willing to take that risk. As far as some of the commentary that's going on in the chat, as far as Brian, John, myself, and Tom go, we don't work for ZampleBox. So it's extremely difficult for us to comment on exactly what the outcome will be with ZampleBox here in the very near future. Hopefully we'll be able to have Tony or Anthony on the show here in the next week or two or month or whatever to talk about that. If you're in the lounge, he's back.
Ridiculous.
The Anthony does try to keep people updated as to where things kind of stand in the current moment, but there is no final announcement on subs are going to end and everybody can cry and and do an RIP ceremony in their
let's
backyard.
Not get in. We need to stop that. No more talk about ZampleBox. If you guys have questions about ZampleBox, you please go to the website, go to Hello ZampleBox, and it'll answer all your questions there. We cannot answer any more questions about ZampleBox on here. We do not work for ZampleBox. Yeah. We can't make any assumptions. So
right.
Anything that comes to that, any questions on that, please just go to the ZampleBox website. Go down to the
their
bottom.
Facebook page.
Yeah, their Facebook page, and you can go down to the bottom there. There's Hello ZampleBox, and you can ask them any questions you want there. Anthony will be on the show eventually here pretty soon to let you guys. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, we just don't have the answers for that. So that's just what it comes
we got.
to,
yeah, we don't want to make any assumptions. We don't know nothing about any of that stuff. So. Sorry about that, guys. Comcast decided to reset my router for the third time today, and then when I went to restart my computer, I had, I guess, updates, so I had to go through the updates process.
Yeah, I got updates waiting here too. So
yeah, don't restart.
I'm trying to get through this first.
Yeah, don't restart.
Yeah, don't talk to me about routers right now.
Oh yeah,
Nighthawk Netgear. Best investment ever.
That's what I had. I got the XR1000 came in today. Yeah,
same.
So
yeah.
Now I realize I have to rename every freaking device in my house right now. Everything.
I was seeing Henry said, "Can you still order vape juice online even because of COVID?" Yes, you can actually. I've said it a couple times. Our website is still going to be open until Monday, so feel free to place an order. It'll get packaged same day and shipped out same day. We're hoping to have everybody's packages delivered by next Friday, but Monday is going to be the cutoff date for our website. There are other websites that are a little bit longer. They're going to be going a little bit longer, but we're going by what we were told by the representation that we have for the industry.
They have a cutoff time for you can see their counters on their page. What are your thoughts about what you've been seeing here lately, Mike, as far as some of these websites getting okays to ship?
I mean, everybody's got different exemptions. We're in the process of doing our exemption with USPS and et cetera, et cetera. But as of right now, they're not granting any exemptions until the final rule is published.
Right.
So that's what we're waiting for ultimately.
Right.
But aside from that, we're anticipating nothing but good news. We've filed for exemptions on a couple of different companies, and we're hoping for the best. Yeah. And that's all we can do.
Who did we see today?
So eJuice Connect made an announcement that they've secured some kind of a shipping mechanism, as well as 8Vape. So that's two names that are out. Now, I don't know if that means like they did not announce the name of the company or who the carrier is. So it could be some dude named Jason who drives like a Nissan Sentra 2001.
What's that
we don't know.
Company that two guys in a truck.
Two guys. It could be two guys in a truck. You're like, I didn't order any furniture from Ashley. Why is this truck here?
As a matter of fact, they're right next door to our warehouse. They've got a warehouse next to ours.
Free plug for those guys.
Yeah.
Two guys in a truck.
So I don't know what this all means. I'm just saying if you see two companies dropping information about that, I kind of feel like there's a bit of a guinea pig experiment that's going to go on, right? I'm not saying that it won't be a success. I'm just saying, is everyone going to jump the bandwagon all at once, or are we going to see if this holds any weight, and then people are just going to kind of kick weight back and see what this manufactures?
I don't know if that's directed to you, Mike. I've been gone, so I don't know if that question is for you
I'm
or.
sorry.
I think it's
Can you
kind of in
repeat the
general,
question?
actually.
Oh, it's just in general. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question for me though?
Where is it at? Is it
It just
difficult to
says-
buy large amounts of PG at your place? Two, is it possible in Germany to buy PG in Can? I don't know.
In Canada,
I've
I'm not
Yeah,
too
so-
familiar with Germany.
So,
Yeah.
in Germany, they have the parts like England does, where you have the different parts you mix together. You have the flavor shop bottle, and then you have the different whatever. And some people are actually buying bigger canisters of everything, so they can just go to the store and get the
Oh.
flavor shots together. And so I think that's what they're talking about.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. My guess, like I said, this is a guess, is that with what's going on here in the States, a lot of people are bulking up and stuff. I'm guessing that it's going to be a little bit harder to find bulk stuff too, because of how many different distros, e-juice companies, different even consumers are just trying to buy stuff in bulk right now. That I could see some shortages in some things for a little while, especially if it's a high profile website that you're going to.
I know one big thing that just arose for anybody international wise. We were just notified of this about a week ago. DHL will be shutting down any inbound and outbound shipments of vapor
Yeah.
products, and it'll be just the U.S. region.
Yep.
That's it so far.
Yeah, that announcement came out, I think, about a week ago, almost a week ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We had it posted up, but
So
you know what?
those-
That one didn't shock me too much, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised there because they already had a nicotine policy before all of this, and
See,
then
but
they
it
just
was-
piled on.
Not to interrupt you, but that it was for domestic, so that's why it
Yeah.
kind of took me by shock. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure there was some governmental influence, especially with all of mainly that one shipment that made headlines was the counterfeit puff bars, if I'm not
Puff
mistaken. that
bars.
They caught. Yeah, so that could have been something that led to it.
Yeah, well, here's a good question. I don't know, Mike. Maybe you can give some insight to this one because I even had an open-ended question about this. I mean, with DHL effectively kind of pulling themselves off the table and USPS being one of the impacted primary carriers, do you see any challenges with your company in terms of? Well, I guess it would not come in this way, but I mean, are you going to experience any issues getting things overseas? But I guess you get the exemption for that.
So on the overseas shipment portion on export, we haven't spoken with DHL just yet about applying for any type of exemption. Since it is a new rule, we did face the blowback with that with UPS and FedEx. When it was a new rule, they really don't have any other answer besides no. So we're gonna give them some time to reevaluate and go through their process that they have to go through. I know one big thing for our international customers is a lot of wholesale that we do. They actually have a lot of forwarders here in the U.S. that it's not actually DHL. We ship to warehouses and stuff like that in Florida, New Jersey, California, here in Texas, and they take care of shipping through primarily, for the most part, from what I've heard and seen, is carriers, which are actual ships that are traveling in the ocean. So it takes a little bit longer to get there. It's not a plane like DHL, but they found their way.
Yeah. I'm also concerned too. I mean, I don't have any insider information, obviously, but I'm also concerned about the aspect of China being able to ship into the United States, right? Because even if you take B2C off the table, right? I can't go to Fast Tech now and order that tank that I want. I'm going to have to go through a local vape shop, special order or however they plan on stocking that stuff. I wonder what the constraint is going to be on local vape shops because, mods drop and tanks drop every frigging week, it seems. And
Yeah.
people always want the latest and the greatest or the coolest and the most awesome. And it could very well be that, we may not be able to get our hands on some of that stuff for some
So-
time to come.
On that note, that's one big thing that the industry itself has come to realize, that there are these big carriers, names that we know that we see every day: UPS, USPS, FedEx, DHL. I mean, you know the works of it. There are various other smaller carriers that don't have these restrictions that these companies have in place, because at the end of the day, there is a lot of money on the table.
Yeah.
So they're gonna figure out a way, and I'm sure Smock and all those other companies that are based in China that ship to the U.S. Their U.S. warehouses, they have a way to ship their
Yeah.
products, and
Yeah.
there's not gonna be any delay in that.
Yeah.
So on that question, yeah, that's why I'd say they're pretty set, I think, in my mind.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on something you talked about on your website, guys. If you're looking for a Silverback and you may not have it in your shop, you can go to their webpage and you can scroll down right here and you can refer your favorite shop. So you guys can go in there if you're looking for their juice and they don't have it at your shop. You can go in onto their website, go over here and fill this out, and I'm sure they'll do their best to try to get their line in your shop. So
That's
because
actually a great button. I wish more would actually
yeah,
have that button, to be honest.
yeah,
So as far as Jefferson goes, Henry,
yeah.
I'm gonna just call him Henry because he's actually commenting a lot. In Tennessee, there's actually I'm really good friends with. He's got about 6 shops out there. Is TN Vapor, and they carry every single one of our lines and products that we carry here in our warehouse.
Yeah.
Good people, good folk out there. They'll love to help you out. Just tell them Mike sent you, and if they ask you what Mike, tell them not the owner.
I thought you were going to say Mike, the one that's going bald.
No, 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 no. So in Spanish, when you find somebody that has the same name as you, they're tocayo. That's
Tocayo.
what yeah,
Yeah.
tocayo. So
Yeah.
he's tocayo. His name's Mike as well. So if they ask you, it's not the owner, it's the guy from Silverback.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be known as the Güero Culero. Yeah, because I was the supervisor at the shop. So every time
Oh
I come
man.
in, they would go, "Oh, there's Güero Culero." I was like, "Hey, you guys, that's enough."
Yeah, management always gets the worst of the harassment. That's for sure.
Oh. Yeah, I think we answered all your questions. Is there anything you want to get out there before you go? I know you say he's got a little baby, guys, so
Yeah.
he's got to get home and be a dad.
I've been here for about 13 hours today, and I love
Yeah,
my job, and the fact that my wife supports me and
yeah,
my family supports me in this, it's amazing. They're at home with my little boy,
yeah,
and I'm sure he misses me. So yeah, I will be stepping out after this. But everybody that really wants to give our juice a try, I mean, visit our website. I know they had it scrolling a little while ago.
yeah.
You can use code FAM30 for 30% off. We created that code specifically for you guys tonight that are
All
watching.
right, nice.
So that way you can just get what you need. I know we've got coils and mods, and I think we've got some Delta 8 and other stuff on the website as well. I know there's hand sanitizer. I don't know if anybody's still interested in that. It's pretty cheap. So,
Yeah,
but definitely give us a check. Check us out. If anything, refer us to your favorite shop, and we'll reach out to them, see what we can do. There's just about a flavor for everybody on our website.
yeah, yeah. I was looking through it. You got quite a bit of flavors, and I tried a couple of them, but it's been a while, so I think I'm gonna place an order tonight when I get done with the show.
I did it right during the show.
Yeah,
What, Tom? You're
I
supposed to
already
be focusing on the show, Tom.
I'm gonna package Tom's order before I leave. Yeah, I
Yeah,
already printed out the label.
Tom wants a signature from
You want a
Mikey.
signature?
Sure.
I'll send you something a little bit better. You'll see when you get it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank you, Mike, for coming on the show and talking a little bit about Silverback and your vape journey. And we'd love to have you back when everything settles down. And I know things are nuts right now. I've been trying to get a couple other people on, and they're like, everyone's like, dude, you know how many orders we're processing every day? We can't do a show. I'm like, all right, just, take some time, step aside.
Well, I used to do a show back in the day with the Vape Stew crew. I don't know if you remember them or
Vape Stew
know
crew.
them. Man, the name off the top of my Tenacious Texas Vapes or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And Joel Robinson, he worked with
Isn't that Tenacious Vapes?
maybe
Yeah,
Tenacious
Stan
Vapes.
and
Stan,
Joel.
Stan
Yeah.
and Joel, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do a show with them quite often. But yeah, it's definitely hectic times. But I mean, scheduling around it, and the
Yeah.
support of my family and everybody that's been with us along
Yeah.
the way, it's been great. We'd love for you guys to meet the rest of the team. That's definitely something we'd be excited to come back in and hope to
Yeah,
see if you
well,
guys meet us.
when we get our juices, we'll do our review on there. So it'll be good to have you back and give you. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
There was a quick question from
I
Rick
didn't see.
Mahoney. He
Yeah.
wanted to know if that FAM 30 was applied across the board for anything on the site or just e-liquid.
It's put down for 30% across the site.
There you go, buddy.
We're trying to help anybody and everybody out. I mean, we've got quite a full stock downstairs.
And remember, guys, you got 5 days.
Yeah,
5
and
days,
that
2
timer if you want
hours.
to put it up.
5 days, 2 hours and 38 minutes right now at 15, 14, 13, 12. No, I'm not going to do that.
It's a reverse puff counter.
Yeah, it's on the code is on the bottom of the screen, but yeah, definitely get in there while you can, and if you can fill out that refer your favorite vape shop, we'll have
Oh,
somebody
there it
reach out
goes.
to
Oh, I
them.
thought I lost you guys again. I was getting ready to be really angry at Comcast, dude, for a second there. If that would have been 4 times today, I would have lost it.
Spectrum.
You did freeze there. You almost fell off the planet.
I
again.
would have. They would have. Oh, never mind. I won't go there. They may be listening. Well, Mike, hey, thank you again, bud. You're welcome back anytime. You got some time available. Maybe we'll get you and Joe on together. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to it, and thank you guys for having me. It was great meeting you all over video, obviously, but I've had some time talking to John for the past week. We definitely look forward to coming back onto the show with you guys.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And hopefully we catch you at a show, which would be awesome. It'd be awesome
Well,
to catch you guys at a show.
hopefully everything calms down a little bit. That's what it is.
Everybody gets their shots.
Yes. Yes. Actually, it's a little faded, but let's see if it focuses on there.
You got your first one. You already got your first shot.
I'm done. I got both.
Both.
I went
Nice.
Pfizer. Yeah, I got Pfizer. Both shots. I got my last one in
And you
January
didn't grow any extra body
28th.
parts. You didn't grow
I
any
didn't
extra.
grow any extra body part. I did have a craving for human meat though. That was
Oh shit! Don't start that! Don't start that!
Great,
I'm just
something
kidding.
for my mom to look forward to. She got her first one yesterday.
Oh man, it's a step in the right direction. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Well,
I'm
again,
excited.
thank you, Mike. We're going to jump into news with Tim. You're welcome back. Let me know. I'll keep in contact with you, and we'll work some another time for you and Joe to come back on. It'll be fun having you guys together.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
having me.
All right,
thanks,
have a
Mike.
thank
good
you,
night.
Mike.
Thanks,
Good
Mike.
night.
Let me get Timmy's bumper ready.
I need a bumper right about now.
Go. And it's Timmy's.
Coming at you live with a little news and advocacy
Hey, man,
tonight,
tap those fucking papers, Tim. Tap those papers.
just to
There
make everybody happy.
there you go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. No, I feel like I'm always self-conscious about the tapping of the paper. So, all right. So we got a few good articles for you tonight, and I decided to try to talk about other people's problems and not our own. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we talk about our own issues, although we do have to wrap it up with an advocacy article. So let me get my share stuff ready, and we can laugh at the expense of a few other people. Actually, well, this one's more we can laugh at the other people. So share screen, and that's the one right there. Okay, let me make it a little bit larger for everybody. Okay, so what's this all about? Who's Bat? No, not the little flying creature that comes across your skyline in the evening, and not your Louisville Slugger version. BAT stands for British American Tobacco. So what's going on to set this up is that British American Tobacco had taken Philip Morris to task over their heat not burn technology. So if people are somewhat familiar at this point, maybe you've heard the name IQOS, IQOS, that's hanging around out there. This is the PMTA approved technology that's now making its way out onto the marketplace. And it's kind of where you have what looks like kind of like a pen style device that you put what's called like I think they call them tobacco sticks or something. They kind of look like a really short, stubby cigarette, and it's got tobacco in it and nicotine, obviously. And you put it in this little device down in the top, and then when you press the button, it heats the tobacco. It doesn't technically burn it, so it's not combustible. It's not like smoking a cigarette. They have the leeway to make all these health claims that it's safer and healthier for you than smoking, whatever, right? So, but they're infighting, right? They got their own issues, right? So Philip Morris has got the IQOS. I don't know what British American Tobacco has or what the name of their product, but apparently they were able to go out and get patents for this device or these devices, whatever. And they sued Philip Morris over infringement over these two particular, over this particular technology. There's a lot of money on the table in terms of this, right? This is going to make these people what they believe is tons of cash. Obviously, there's a vacuum here with vaping being somewhat challenged. They think that their product is going to take the lead here. So, but what happened in this particular case was that after review, the UK judge determined that two of the key patents involved in this lawsuit were invalid and effectively revoked the patents. So now they can no longer use these patents on these particular devices. So in short, what that kind of did was it kind of got Philip Morris off the hook, because with now British American Tobacco's patents being revoked, it squashes the lawsuit, the infringement lawsuit against Philip Morris. However, the judge that ruled the patents invalid came back and said, had they stayed in play, Philip Morris would have infringed upon British American Tobacco's technology. So that would have been a big story, I guess, probably would have been a big payoff. I highly doubt it would have stopped IQOS from coming out or anything like that. But the weeds get thicker from there. Just so everyone knows, the patents that were deemed invalid concerned both an aerosol generating device, that's what they like to call this, by heating the tobacco and creating this smoke. It's an aerosolization of that tobacco stick, and B, a cigarette for use with an aerosol generating device. So it doesn't excuse the fact that this tobacco stick isn't still tobacco, but they pulled those two patents, and so now that they've revoked them, it dismissed the case against Philip Morris. However, there are more cases that are going to be held, one involving British American Tobacco attempting to invalidate 4 of Philip Morris's patents. But there's some key differences. So not a whole lot to take away. I guess, it's kind of fun to be a spectator in this particular sport. I'm not particularly a fan of the heat not burn devices as far as a choice for me. I'm trying to stay away from that remnant or that memory. Heat sticks, thank you, Phil. I'm trying to stay away from that particular side of the technology. But I would say, in fairness, tobacco harm reduction is tobacco harm reduction any way you slice the cake. So whether it be NRTs, patches, therapy, counseling, heat not burn, vaping, smokeless tobacco that doesn't have nicotine in it or is now using some of those more natural elements, like what's the cigarettes that are out now? Anybody remember the name of those? Quick, off the top of your head.
I don't remember.
You see them advertised on Facebook. There are a new cigarette that's come out that uses more natural leaf products, not tobacco leaves, with nicotine in it. So that's competing against cigarettes as well. Yeah. I'm just going to say flat out, THR is THR. Yeah. Whatever you choose to get away from smoking is a win. So we can't really criticize people for choosing one over the other. I think the unfortunate side for vaping is that we were sort of attacked and made people believe that vaping is worse than smoking overall, and that's where this industry got hurt. Just so everybody knows, Philip Morris spent over $8 billion to develop IQOS. $8 billion. There's no vape company around that's got $8 billion to just drop on a mod, right? So. We just don't have the money to stand up to it. Anyway, that's that one. If you want to spectate or sport that one, be my guest. I kind of like it when the tobacco companies stick it to themselves. I guess
themselves,
that's
yeah.
stick it to themselves. All right, so moving on, let's go to the next article. The next article is a paper that was published by a particular organization called INNCO. You might ask yourself, what does INNCO stand for? It stands for International Network of Nicotine Consumer Organizations, and they are an advocate group that advocates specifically for sensible tobacco harm reduction policies, and they published a recent paper about e-cigarette bans. And so North America, as we all know, is not the only country in the world that is facing some elements of or under all-out bans, right? India was one, right? I think India got completely shut down. They outlawed and banned that. Several countries otherwise, I was mentioned tonight, Mexico. I did not know that Mexico had a ban on vaping. I did, or to some. I'm sure you can still get it down there, but it's all went underground. However, the title of this paper that they just published. This is their first paper that they published, right? So this has no long-standing history in it, but it was aptly titled 10 Reasons Why Blanket Bans of E-Cigarettes and HTPs in low and middle income countries are not fit for purpose. Now, I forgot what HTPs stand for. I should have written that down. I abbreviated it, and maybe
All right, just don't look. Just take a wild guess and see how close you are.
Happy Tickle Pants. Happy
I don't
Tickle
know if
Pants.
it's that one.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's not Happy Tickle Pants. But at any rate, that was my answer for tonight, so sue me. And so INCO, their position effectively asserts that oversimplistic and impractical bans on ENDS, or electronic nicotine delivery systems, nailed it, is an ethical violation of people's ability to make decisions about safer nicotine products, particularly when their own health is on the line. And I think that that's the primary argument in all of this, and why I feel slighted by our own federal government and upset by the anti-organizations that are funded by Bloomberg and other government funnels to come out on the record and basically state a lot of stuff that's negative and false about vaping, but influence decisions made at the federal level or the government level to basically say, well, because of the kids, we can't trust adults to make decisions about how they want to approach tobacco harm reduction. In our cases, we chose vaping. We also know that vaping, based on legitimate studies, is 95% safer than smoking. So I think as adults who have the ability to share information and make choices for their own benefit should be allowed to do so, and we should not have a nanny state situation where we use the crutch of kids being kids to levy taking that away from us. So I agree completely with INCO. Of course I'm going to agree with INCO. They made the claim that low to middle income countries bans are a form of philanthropic colonialism, essentially suggesting that these countries and their citizens cannot be trusted with any level of self-determination. So I think they address other organizations influencing the bans, like the WHO coming out or something and making like a broad-based sort of iron-fisted comment about how vaping is bad and it should be banned and outlawed and taken away. They don't really have anything to specifically back that up. But that's kind of effectively what they're addressing and talking to. According to their paper, simplistic solutions to complex public health challenges may seem attractive, but ultimately do not work. And I think that that's another key point that they're making here, and that is that, while it seems cut and dry, like, hey, let's just ban it, well, what's going to happen? You're going to get two cause and effects, right? Because you're going to have people go back to smoking, which we know is going to kill you, right, in the end. And B, anything that we choose to do or continue because of our informed decision is going to go underground, therefore making it less safe for everyone across the board, because you don't know where that stuff is coming from, left or right. I mean, if you know people, trusted sources, then you're probably pretty safe. But think about the average Joe who's like, man, I used to be able to go down and get, my grape ice, and now he's got to go searching for grape ice out on the internet or on the dark web or whatever. And he doesn't know where that stuff's coming from. Could have been made in a bathtub with, all kinds of contaminants. So they do make a very valid point. So let's real quickly look over the top 10 reasons why they think vape bans are ineffective. 1, bans are an oversimplistic solution to a complex issue and will not work. Prioritizing the banning of reduced harm alternatives over cigarettes is illogical. Exactly. Reduction and substitution are valid goals for smokers in low to middle income countries. People who smoke have the right to choose to reduce their own risk of harm. That's right. We should have that right. It's not in the Constitution, but as adults, we should reserve that right. Reduced harm alternatives can significantly contribute to the aims of global tobacco control. Precisely. That's what a lot of this is about. Lack of research in low to middle income countries is not a valid reason to ban reduced harm alternatives. The prohibitionist approach in LMICs is outdated, unrealistic, and condescending. Bans will lead to illicit markets, an increase in crime, and no tax revenue. Correct. You don't get it, government, you get none of that money when it's all going underneath the table. Banning reduced harm alternatives leads people back to smoking and greater harm. And blanket bans in LMICs are a form of philanthropic colonialism. Go on Merriam's and look that one up. But it is. I mean, it's basically, it's just government rule. So I don't know that this particular paper will play any particular influence. I don't know where they're submitting these things to. I'm going to assume it's probably coming out over legislative tables. Maybe they're just sending letters out. I don't know. I really don't know what kind of weight this particular organization holds. Obviously, they're a big voice in nicotine alternative therapies. So they supposedly have crossed their T's and dotted their I's. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this gets played out in lawsuits and things like that. Unfortunately, organizations like this don't usually get a seat at the table. So there's that one. And I completely 100% agree with everything said in this particular paper, as I believe all of us. All right. Lastly and finally, advocacy. I don't know that there's too much that we can advocate on this particular one because we're kind of running out of advocacy stuff sometimes. There are some calls to action that are out there. I know that there is a petition flying around on change.org with regard to trying to get UPS and FedEx to kind of reverse their aim on not carrying shipments and stuff like that. We had an article last week where there was some public commentary open. UPS is about to shut down the open commentary period for their rules on B2B shipping. But this one affects Florida, right? So we all heard about Florida. Basically, their governor came forward, DeSantis, and he kind of saved the day when they were looking at a statewide ban. He issued a big, long letter that basically looked at the science of it all, the real science of it all, and saved vaping in Florida. However, now there's a bill coming across the House legislature right now that would, and this doesn't even address vaping, so let me precursor that. This talks about smoking, but there's a caveat to all this, right? So we'll get to that point. But what's this bill that's out there right now is basically saying that if this bill passes, it's going to give the ability to decide what happens on local beaches and parks and things with regard to smoking, which could include complete bans of smoking in those particular public areas. There's a senator, a Republican senator by the name of Joe Gruters, who is sponsoring this bill. And he basically made a claim that in a one-day event, a cleanup event, a one-day event, 180,000 cigarette butts were cleaned off of one of the beaches in Florida. Didn't specify the beach but 180,000 cigarette butts. That's pretty damn nasty, if you ask me. And I'll be the first one to admit, I've gone to the beach before, and you go digging in the sand, and what do you pull up in between your fingers but a bunch of cigarette butts sometimes? You know, some schmuck sitting there in his chaise lounge smoking his pack a day and just dumping them in, putting them out in the sand, and then he buries them and walks off. And then your kid goes, I don't have any kids, but your kids go to make a sandcastle. And, you know, and there it is. You got little chimneys all over your sandcastle made out of cigarette butts, right? So, yeah, that's pretty darn nasty. So they want to basically outlaw smoking on beaches and parks, but they don't want it to be at the state level. They want the local municipalities to be able to make these decisions about whether or not they ban it in that particular area. It got a 5-0 vote in the House, and now it's going to move on to what they call the Senate Rules Committee. And if they pass it, this law will go into effect as of July 1. I don't know that there's really anybody here that's got a really big issue with smoking on the beaches and in the parks and things like that. I mean, hey, you know, whatever. You know, we were smokers once too. We kind of understand. I don't know that. Another thing is cigars and pipe tobacco are exempt from this.
Exempt. I was
They're
gonna say.
exempt, yeah. So, you know, I guess they look at it as more of a biodegradable element, right? So if you tap out your pipe or you stick your big old stogie butt down in the sand, I guess eventually it'll break down over time. I still think that's kind of nasty, though, because, you know, some big old dude's lips were all over that big old fat stogie, and now you just put your hand all over it. So carry your hand sanitizers, kids. There's two bills that are flying around. There's another one that almost mimics this one. It basically states the same. But my point, my caveat, my takeaway from this is just because they're talking about smoking and smoking alone, don't rest, right? Because everyone knows that the next target will be vaping, right? Because part of this mentioned the secondhand smoke effect, not just the cigarette butts in the sand, but the secondhand smoke. And so while you still might be able to vape on the beach, you know, just know that somebody's going to complain about that too. There's some Karen that's going to go and raise holy Cain over this, and they're going to come after vaping too. So we don't really litter with vaping, but if you're a Juul vapor or a disposable pod vapor or a puff bar guy or a puff bar girl or whatever, don't throw that shit in the sand. Don't give them any excuse to find something vape related. I went to my mailbox the other day to pick up my mail, and what was on the ground right in front of the cluster boxes? A puff bar package.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was lychee ice, or lychee, whatever. I would have never vaped that in a million years to begin with, so I kind of went, ugh, the flavor. But some idiot in my neighborhood couldn't even unpackage it and put the trash back in his car. So don't give them excuses. Clean up after yourselves, kids. And that, my friends, is the news.
Is the newsy news.
There you go.
Bum, bum, da.
There you have it.
Thank you, Tim, for making our night and not giving us too much bad news. You're gonna have to come up with a good story every week from now on, something positive. I know it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, you know, if you're on the social distortion, vape distortion page, you don't see too much good news.
No,
That's all I gotta say.
There's not much in there. All right, we're gonna go to Tom. Tom is going to do What's Cheesin' Tom, and let me give Tommy his little bumper. Oh, by the way, hey Tom, fuck you.
Fuck your turn, Collie.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Alrighty then.
Still love that. Okay, first off, Tim, you want me to go find that neighbor and beat him with a baseball bat?
Yeah, okay. I want to just cut his fingers off. So
I could do that too.
Yeah,
I'm flexible.
He's flexible.
All right, things that cheese me off today. Well, actually, it's been like 3 weeks, and the list is remarkably small. It's only 10.
10. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, the last two are pretty good ones. All right. First, getting cut off in traffic. I will run you off the damn road.
Tom's always like this close to like manslaughter, isn't he? He's like,
I'm waiting to see a picture of Tom on Fox News, dude.
Yeah, you guys like, hey, I know that guy.
Or what the show they brought back, America's Most Wanted.
Love that show. When you've been thinking about eating something all day or all night when you're at work, and you know it's just waiting in the fridge, or a piece of cake, whatever, only to find out it's gone when you get home.
Time out. We have a rule at my house, and it's a rule at every place I've ever worked into. If your name is not fucking on it, then it belongs to everybody. It's community.
You shouldn't have to name your food.
No, you don't have. You have to have your name on it. So that's the rule. Every place I've ever worked, and in my own home. So, your rule.
No,
it's community. Refrigerator is community.
It should not be. You should not have to label your food. All right. When people smoke or vape directly next to an entrance or an exit, instead of in a designated area, move the extra couple feet over. Some people don't want to breathe in all that crap, and that's coming from somebody that did smoke and now vapes. Because I may not like what you're vaping, and I damn sure ain't gonna like what you're smoking.
Well, because also too, I mean, some places now you have to. Well, I know here in California it's 25 feet, so I'm sure it's in most places as well. So you shouldn't be within 25 feet of an entrance anyway.
Right, but there's still those people that I'm better than the rules.
Yeah.
When the two parts of a bathroom stall lock don't line up, how do you fail at your job that much? Where there's two parts, they have to line up, and they don't. Really? What
you had one job.
Yeah. Number 5. We're halfway through. When you hand somebody your phone to look at a picture, and they scroll through your pictures.
Oh God, I hate that. I'm with you there, Tom.
Stop it. You may see things you don't want to see.
That's right.
What about when a 6-year-old does it?
That's okay.
There's like 3 adults also watching.
Oh no,
that's different.
You can't yell at their kid, man.
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
I'm that guy.
See, he said something there, and that seems to apply to anyone that doesn't have kids. Every person I've ever asked that doesn't have kids will always say that I'll hit that kid, or I'll yell at that kid. I don't care.
I don't care
because they don't have kids.
Kids some freaking manners.
They don't care.
All right, dropping the phone between the center console and the seat of your vehicle, only to almost have it, and it slips again. It's little things today.
I got something for you in that one. How many have done that and just left it there for months? Things that you have slid through that seat cushion, and then like maybe a month later you're cleaning it out and you're going, oh yeah, that's where it's at.
When I smoked, I used to do that with lighters. Like, oh yeah, that's where that one went. I'm looking for that. And you always fire it up to make sure it still works. When people get offended for being interrupted when they interrupted you to start with. So, like...
Hypocrite.
Fuck you,
Shut
Tom.
Up. See? That. This one, it's a small one, and it's important. When the microwave isn't set back to display time, so you still have like the 3 seconds or 5 seconds left on the timer, instead of it showing the time.
Yeah, I'm. That's a pet peeve of mine. Like I even hate myself when I walk in the kitchen and I look up and I'm like, you dumb son of a blonde. Left it on 2 seconds.
Right.
Now I don't know what time it is.
When there's all sorts of things that you can just say, hey, what time is it? Or look at it.
No, you just ask ALEXA. Yeah, that woman.
The absolute worst was back in the day when the VCR clocks would blink midnight.
Oh yeah. Well, my oven does that because it doesn't it's not connected to the internet. So
I would actually go to if I visit somebody's house and it was blinking, I would actually fix it for them.
You were the clock corrector.
Yeah, it annoyed me that bad.
Modern Vapor. Send an email to ZampleBox and we'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, I got it. I think there should be a universal time set for everything ever made. So I shouldn't have to read a manual to know how to change the friggin' time on my oven because the time changed. Now I have to go through this process.
Well, no, here's a solution for it all. You basically, I mean, these devices are electronic, right? They're technologically advanced, right? I mean, it's a freaking oven, you know, it can cook a effing turkey.
Yeah.
Put a little CMOS battery in there on the prom that that fucker will run for a year. And if your power goes out for 2, 3, 4 hours, it stores it on the EEPROM and keeps that time going based on just standardizations. It's a computer. It can tell time without seeing the time. And then when it comes back up, your time comes back up. And then you don't need Brian.
Yeah. Well, I ran into it because the time changed.
Don't let me be out of a job. Come on.
Yeah. It's because the time changed. So I looked at my oven. I was like, oh, shit, man, I'm early. And then I realized, oh, wait, I got to change the time on the oven. And I'm sitting there looking at it going, oh shit, how do I do this again? I literally had to go back and go get the manual to figure out how to change the time on the stupid oven. It should be set.
I use gamer protocol for that, John. It's called button mashing. Button mashing. You just start pushing shit until you figure it out.
On my oven, at the, underneath, it'll say hold these two buttons for a couple seconds for time.
Yeah, for time. Yeah, I saw that, but it was in such small print that I didn't see it said that. So all I saw was
glasses.
I saw time set, and that was to set the oven to turn itself on in like 2 hours. And I kept hitting that thing, and I kept setting the time thinking, okay, I was setting it from 3 to 4. So I hit that, I go 3 to 4, and then I hit it again, and it was still 3 o'clock. I was like, what's going on? But now my oven's going to turn itself on at 4 o'clock. I'm just like, you son of a bitch, I'm done with you, man.
All right, Ricky, I'm wondering if she was a cute nurse.
Yeah, it's pretty much. That's
just wondering.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, the next two. We're down to two left.
Two.
Being offended by a damn cartoon skunk and a plastic potato. What the fuck?
Oh, there's that great meme that's going around where the cat is the mother cat is nursing like 8 baby skunks, and he says his father was French.
Yeah. We all grew up on fucking Mr. Potato Head and Pepe Le Pew. We're all okay-ish.
Yeah.
And number 10 is cancel culture. There's a difference between being offensive and offended.
Yeah,
learn it.
There is a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate.
Yep.
Right.
I think Tom McDonald said that. I robbed that from his video. Sorry.
That's a good one.
You thief.
I did. I robbed that one.
And
I am going to...
oh, shoot.
Sorry.
Kicked it off early.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hit it too soon.
And my heart rate is at a whopping 88.
That's it?
That's it.
You and your fancy watch.
I don't know. Is that good?
It's a little high, but
I'm kidding.
I keep pushing the button until it tells me that it's in the okay range.
I'm a large guy, so
mine says please move.
Yeah. Mine just says don't die.
Don't die. Eat something and move. Can you please move? You've been stationary for 12 hours. Can you please move now?
Catatonic was so yesterday.
Yeah. Is that all of them, Tommy? You feel
that's
better?
All time.
All
yes,
right.
Sir.
You feeling better?
Yep.
All right. So everybody can relax now in the state of Wisconsin. Tommy is relaxed for another week. We won't see him on Fox. I was shocked that they brought that. I was kind of shocked and glad that they brought that show back, because that's probably one of the shows that I really kind of enjoyed kind of sitting there or watching.
What?
America's Most Wanted.
Oh, they brought it back.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're using modern tech with it, which is amazing.
Yeah. So All right. Well, we're going to jump into. We're going to play a quick build tutorial to help people that want to make the transition from sub-owned coils to making their own coils. So I put a video together for you guys, and I'm going to play that. And I might kind of skip through it a little bit because I can do it, and hopefully I don't skip over too much. But I'm going to go ahead and start playing that right now here. So I am going to do a quick coil building tutorial. We did one, last week's on the show, but the video and lighting was not so great. So I figured we'll do a pre-recorded one so I can show you guys during the show. So we're going to talk about what you need as far as tools and what apps I use. I use steamengine.com, and I'll have a link to it, and that's what I use to get my ohms that I'm trying to achieve with my coils. So what you can do is you're going to go there and you're going to pick the type of wire that you're using, whether it's stainless steel, Kenthal, nichrome 80, nichrome 90. You're going to pick that wire. You're also going to pick the gauge of wire that you're going to use, 26, 24, 28 gauge. You're also going to scan down there, and you're going to pick the inner diameter of the coil that you want to make, whether it's a 2.5 or 3 millimeter coil. And then the very last thing you're going to do is pick the ohms that you're trying to get. So whether you're trying to get a 0.2, 0.5, so you're going to put that in there, and then it's going to go over to the far right, and it'll show you how many wraps that you need to achieve that ohm. So let's skip down to the downward camera, and I will show you the tools that you need here. So hold on here. Let me switch it up. All right, here we go. First off, you need wire. Can't do any of this without any wire. I use Lightning Vapes. They changed their name. I'll have a link to it. You'll be able to find them if you're interested in Lightning Vapes wire. I am also using nichrome 80, and I'm going to be using 26 gauge. And this is a 100-foot spool, but you can get them in, I think, 25s, 50s, 100s, and up. So that's the wire that I'm using. Screwdriver set that I use. It comes in a set of 5. I have it somewhere, but they're the little jewelry screwdrivers. And I like this one's because it says what it is right on there. It's a 3 millimeter, and this one's a 2.4 millimeter. I like these. These are the two that I use the most in the set, so they never really go back in there. But you can find these on Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's, just a bunch of places. Then I got a pair of needle nose pliers and a pair of cutters. And you can find these as well at Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon. I got my needle nose pliers, and I got a pair of cutters. Now, I like these cutters because they're bent. They got that little bend right there, and it helps getting underneath the posts on the RDAs to cut those leads off. So good set to have. Also, you need cotton, and I'm not going to tell you what cotton to get. Get whatever cotton you want, but this is the cotton that I use. And it's pretty simple. Let's get started here. All right, we're going to get my wire, pull out a strand of wire here, get my cutters, cut this right here. All right, so we're going to do a 26 gauge nichrome 80 on a 3 millimeter screwdriver, and we're going to do 10 wraps because I'm trying to get a 0.55, 0.6, somewhere right around there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take it and set it down right on there and put your thumb right on top of it right there. You see what I'm doing? Right there. And you're going to wrap it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then what I like to do is I'll take my needle nose pliers and drop them. Take my needle nose pliers and I will pull on those leads right there a little bit. Tighten up that coil a little bit. And there is coil number 1 done. You can stretch that one lead back out down there here. Let me get that one. That's what she said. So it looks right. There you go. There's one, and then you're going to do is grab your wire.
I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here.
Making
and
a
I
second
do the same
one.
thing again. I'll pull these leads nice and tight. And there's coil number 2.
Ah, the
So I
good
got my
old
two
days.
coils ready for
Good
my
old
RDA,
days.
and I'm going to do these on the Dead Rabbit because a lot of people have the Dead Rabbit RDA. That'll be video number 2. Let me set those down there and go back on to my top view. Pretty simple, guys. It's really easy to. Okay, guys, welcome back for part 2, and that is installing your coils that you just made onto your RDA. I'm going to use the Dead Rabbit because it's such a popular RDA. A lot of people have it, so I'm going to use that one as our RDA for the video. So let's jump to the other camera and let's see what it looks like and move on to that part here. Let's switch to solo layout here. All right, there we go. Right here is the Dead Rabbit version 2 RDA. First, let me get a pointer here. First thing you're going to do is you're going to see you've got your post screws right there. Let me make sure you can see those, your post screws. You're going to loosen those screws up, and you're going to see that will open up a channel for your wire to go into. Right, like so. There and there. Apologize, I am doing this upside down, and you got them on both sides. So you're going to unscrew on both sides, and you're going to notice you have a gold one and a chrome one, or silver. This is your positive, and this is your negative. So you're going to put one lead into your positive side and one lead into your negative side, and the same thing on the other side, positive and negative lead. All right, now with the Dead Rabbit, they have a couple tools that you can use to gauge the length of your wire. But what I like to do is I like to take the older coil. You're going to see some dirty coils here. I'm going to take the dirty coils that I had on there, and I'm going to use that as my gauge to where I'm going to cut these leads. So, and I like to go a little longer, just in case. It's better to be over a little bit than under. So I put it right up against it like so on the other lead, and what I do is I slide it down maybe a couple millimeters, and I'll cut that lead off, and then I'll move the other wire, the other lead by it, and cut that there as well. There we go. And now I have one coil ready to go with the leads cut, and I could just leave. Actually, there you go. Now I've got, let me get these both in the image. I got both cut to the length that I need for this RDA. So I'm going to set them down right there. Get this dirty one out of here. Get these clips out of here. All right, now this is the fun part. So now remember, you got a positive and a negative side. Same thing on the other side, positive and negative. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your first coil. I like to stick it in the screwdriver, the 3mm screwdriver. And I'm going to do my best here, guys. Again, remember, I'm watching this upside down on a camera. So, and I'm trying to make sure I stay in focus. So let me do my best here. I am going to stick those leads into the hole there. And you can see, there we go. I'm in there. And I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to get my other screwdriver. And I am going to start tightening it down. Not all the way down. Just snug enough to where you can make your adjustment if you want to go back up or down a little more. So I just put it on snug enough to where I can kind of move the coil around a little bit. And that looks like about where I want to be. So I'm going to kind of move it around, as you can see. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten it the rest of the way down. Nice and snug. And there you go. And I'm going to slide it off, and you can see there we got the first coil installed and ready to go. Now I am going just to switch this around, and I'm going to repeat the same thing again, guys. I'm just going to stick my coil back. Looks like I need to open that up a little more here. You're there. Tighten down your lead. Again, not too tight, just snug so you can make some adjustments. All right, there you go. And I'm going to center it. That looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down Sorry if I'm going in and out my audio. I am moving away my mouth away from the microphone. There you go. Snug, nice and tight. And then what I like to do here is stick my 3mm screwdriver back in there, kind of move my coils around a little bit and get them to where I like them. There we go. That's simple, guys. And there are my 2 coils ready to go. Also, keep in mind, I didn't say it in the beginning, if you're going to use a mod to get your coils in there, I like to make sure I take the batteries out. So this way there's no accidents of you hitting the fire button while you're doing this and shorting your out or burning out the coils. So yeah, make sure that you take your coils out, make sure you take your batteries out of your mod. Really important. But there you go. Now you can do any kind of adjustment you want to do. Like I said, you could take your, where'd my 3mm screwdriver go? There it goes. You take your 3mm screwdriver, you can kind of move them around to where you want them, like so. All right, and there they are. That's how I like mine. I just make sure they're not touching. So I'm going to back those out just a little bit, but you can see they're in there, nice and clean. All right, now this is where you put your batteries back in your mod. And we got plus Galites, John's Choice. And down, put it in there. And look at that. That is about as pretty close as I'm going to get on here. So now I like to start at pretty low temps here. So I'm going to bring this down to about 30 watts. I'm sorry, 30 watts. And I'm going to pulse them a little bit, just to kind of try to get all that gunky out of there. And you can see them starting to heat up, and you can strum them a little bit. You don't have to pinch them right now. You can just strum your coils, and you'll start to see them glowing perfectly together. Now, this is where I will take my tweezers. I will heat the coils up, like so, and then pinch them together. And hold. All right, switch sides here. I'm going to heat that coil back up and then take it and pinch it together and hold it. All right. Now I'd like to take a little strum. What do you think, guys?
And
Cheaper
there we
than
go.
buying
Getting them back together
big time,
here
right?
evenly.
Hands
Keep
down,
strumming them
Morgan.
until you start
Hands
stopping. There
down
we go. See how
cheaper.
nice they're firing right there now?
Just besides time, that probably cost him maybe 25 cents
Yeah.
There we go.
with tax.
Probably less than that.
With
Perfect.
tax.
Perfect. Strum them one more time.
That whole spool of wire he
Make
got
any
is probably
slight
like $5.
adjustments now
Yeah,
too, as well.
625, I
Need to
think it
move
is,
them
for
over a little
100
bit
feet
more.
of 26 gauge.
And real quick,
Once you
Morgan,
move 'em, though,
with
you
proper
might have
maintenance,
to
those coils
strum
could
'em
last
again.
months, not days.
I'm trying to get them back in line there.
And if you screw up, just take it out.
There
It
you
costs you
go.
almost nothing.
And there they
And
are.
that's it, guys. That's it. That's how easy it is putting coils into an RDA. I got pretty close. I am at 5.5 volts or 5.5 ohms, so it's just a little over. But I was looking for a 5, so I got really close there. So pretty good. And you can see they're glowing pretty good. Just need to strum them out a little bit more and
happy,
get them
Zach?
perfect. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is how you put in coils. That's how you make coils. I hope this helps. I hope the video's a little better for you guys to see what was going on. Now you just got to put cotton in it and get that in there. And I mean, that's pretty basic. Hopefully you guys don't need any help with that, but pretty simple, pretty easy to do. And that's it. That is my tutorial. Hope you guys enjoy. Oh, let me go back up to top.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, there's not a lot to it, and like it is cheaper. And for me, and probably like a lot of us, when we first started building, it kind of helped us take that edge off of wanting a cigarette too, just building coils. And I used to do that at night, and that whole roll is like $6.25. That's 100 feet of 26 gauge nichrome 80. And shit, I don't know how many coils you can make out of that damn thing, dude. But you're muted, Tim.
A metric ton of
Yeah,
coils.
yeah. Anybody else want to add to that, Brian, Tom?
On the site that you linked, Wire Optum, you can also get, if you don't want regular round wire, they do sell spools of Clapton wire.
Yeah. Completely done and ready to go. So yeah.
Yep.
Next
All you
week
gotta
will
do
be
is
a
just wrap
Clapton.
it.
Next week will be a Clapton. I'll have the camera set up. I'll have a drill. I'll show you how simple it is. My method of making the Clapton is so easy, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, as blind as I am, anybody else can do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a great way to just, pass some time at night when, you're having some urges, or if you just want to kind of cut back your vaping at night, start building coils. It helped me out a lot.
Yeah, modern YouTube is your friend.
Yeah.
In this case, I mean, if you're, you know what, and I completely respect the fact that people feel a little intimidated by going into the rebuildable side of things, but it's like anything else, right? Like, remember how you terrified you were to ride a bike? Once you get a few rotations into it and you have your trial and error and you screw up here and make a couple mistakes, once you really start getting it down, you're well on your way, and you literally won't look back. I mean, you will. I mean, you might have a few devices around that have sub-ohm coils or whatever, just for out of convenience, but you will find yourself much more happy in a rebuildable side of things. That's just a personal opinion.
Yeah.
Zach, that's the easiest way to make Claptons. You just take out the spool and cut.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
You can do it that way, but I'm going to show everybody how to do it with the drill. And next week I'll have it. It'll be a quick video. It's real simple to do. And what's nice is, just like Tim said, you start to get some nasty flavor. Pull the cotton out of there, and clean your RDA. Run some water over it. Clean it out. Heat them up a little bit. Strum your coils. Get some of that gunk off of there. Put some new cotton in, and you're good to go.
Oh, here, Morgan had a good question. She said, "Do you have to have a certain mod in order to use an RDA?" Well, Morgan, we won't talk about the mech side of things because that's just way too advanced and a little too risky.
And she's also still a beginner, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'll just put it this way. So if you're in enough vape groups or you've watched enough vape videos, you've seen enough of those regulated mods that are out there. Take for example like a Smoke T-Priv or a G-Priv. I mean, I'm just using basic regulated mods that, will typically go up anywhere between 80 to 150 watts, right? Most people won't even get that high. Most of those mods, and any of those mods really, can handle an RDA, setup, like whether it be a single or a dual coil, like the Dead Rabbit's a dual coil RDA. Those kinds of regulated mods can handle those. You don't want one of those, little 40-watt giggers that, has like a magnetic tank on it, or like these aren't made for RDAs.
Right,
They're made for pod style vaping, and that's it. But any of those basic regulated mods that you see most people have,
the mod that she currently has would be perfect.
which is a
Geek Vape X.
Yeah, Geek Vape X.
yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Yeah, all you need to do is go look. I know I'm good. This is crazy because no one looks at it, but you could either go to your manual and that you got in your packaging, or you can go to a website and Geek Vape's website, and it'll tell you the lowest coil you can put in there and the highest rating coil you can put in there, and just build around that to your vaping preference. So if you're using a sub-ohm coil right now, and you're probably more than likely probably vaping at like maybe 50 to 60 watts, probably, I'm guessing. I don't think she's a high temp vapor.
Probably not.
Probably not. So you're probably right in that. Megan, are you in that 50 to 65 range? And then
Morgan, not Megan.
It's Morgan. Morgan.
Yeah.
Okay, Morgan. All right. Yeah, if you're in there, just build your coils. Go to SteamYard. I could put that. Can somebody, Brian? Can you get that link? Put it in
She's
there?
around 70 watts, which is pretty
okay.
average. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's pretty.
that's really average. I mean, you're looking at 70 watts. You're probably looking at anywhere
the Zeus
between like a
tank.
0.15 to
Right.
up to about a 0.18. That's about the 70 watt range. Morgan, for your benefit, just so you know, John's methodology is saying, he's going to do more complex things, but there are also things out there on the market called coil kits that you can buy. Coilology is one company. Coil Master also makes them. You can buy it in a kit like that. Tom's holding a Skynet right there, and that has about it's called an 8-in-1 kit, and it has 48 coils in it. It's about 14 to 15 bucks, and you can buy a kit like that, and it comes with everything you'll need. Like basically, it has pre-made coils in it. Several different variations, Claptons, Aliens, Tigers, whatever, and all of that. And it's pennies on the dollar in the end. And they'll have the resistance marks on the tin. So just so you know, when you see those kits, more than likely they're going to list the resistance of that coil as a single coil. So it might say like 0.32, or sorry, I'll use 0.36 as an example.
Yeah.
When you put 2 coils in an RDA, it halves that number. So if it's a 0.36 single coil installation, when you do 2, it's going to take it down to a 0.18.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to cut it in half. So
Right now, I know you can't see it, but the resistance on my RDA is 0.09.
yeah,
And that's with 2 pre-built aliens from Holland.
yeah.
Right,
And
so
and the reason I went with building it my own is because I know a lot of people want to. We get a lot of those questions in the ZampleBox family page, and people asking they want to start building and doing their own coils. So that's a great start right there. Is a single wire build, real easy. 26 gauge, 24 gauge. You could stay within those two. 28's too thin. I wouldn't go with that. But 26 is just and 24 are your happy mediums. And I recommend getting Nichrome 80 or 90. Both of them are good. Stainless steel as well, if you want to get into stainless steel as well. I don't know if very many people are doing temp control, but if you are, it's great. And who's got a ceiling fan on or a fan on? I hear a fan.
My furnace just kicked in.
Oh, no, that's what it is. Yeah, and I mean, and the other reason is a lot of people complain about taste of some of these pre-made coils. So if it's something that you're worried about, they're coming from China or whatever, you can always order this wire. It's all U.S. made wire, so you'll be able to build your own coils and not have to worry about it. And you're going to get, like I said, you can get 3 to 6 months, sometimes even more on these coils. Just depends on how well you keep them up and keep them clean. And you start doing the math. You build one set of those coils like I just made. Those last me 6 months. Think about how many sub-ohm coils you're going to buy in 6 months.
Heck yeah.
So.
And another good, I see people recommending some single coil RDAs out there. Another good one if you want to stay cheap, because I know people are budget concerned, conscious about what they're spending. The Wasp Nano is a great single coil RDA to get started with, and in your case, Morgan, single coil RDAs vape really, really well. It's not like you're getting, you're not packing twice the punch just to get a dual, but like I think a Nano Wasp is like $15 or something like that.
It went
12 to 15
because it got popular. It got popular.
So it's like Converse All-Stars. It used to be $15. Now they're $60.
It was like when no one knew what it was. It was like, dude, you can get this RDA for $10. And then all of a sudden it just took off. Everybody was buying. Everybody was raving about that RDA. And all of a sudden I was like, son of a bitch, it's $19.95 now. I was like, what the hell?
But it's one coil.
Yeah.
It's one wicking job. It's low maintenance and a lot easier to start with 2 than to go start with 1 than to jump right into 2.
And also, if you're looking for an RTA, the one we got, Tommy, what is that? The single coil, the Destiny. Yeah, the Destiny RTA is a single coil RTA. If you're into the tank things and you still want to have that same kind of setup you do with your sub-ohm tank, where you're just going to go ahead and dump, 4 mils of juice in there and not have to worry about it, that's an option as well. And actually, I will do a build on the on that probably here real soon, because I know a lot of people have that RTA. And I think a lot of people too that have RD or sub-ohm tanks that want to switch to bills usually go that route anyway. It seems like they
Yeah,
go to
just
tanks.
know that within the world of RTAs, wicking
Yeah.
can be a little bit more
Yeah.
finicky and precise, which is why a lot of people would recommend an RDA at first.
Yeah.
So look at the long view here, right? You go with an RDA, a lot more margin for error in your wicking. But you can also consider like, well, I don't want to drip all damn day, and I respect that. You could go to squonking, and any of those RDAs will have the 510 pin you can swap out. And basically, squonking is where the juice is contained inside a bottle in the mod, and you basically squeeze the juice from right where Tom's pointing up into the RDA. So you're no longer dripping. You're just basically replenishing your wick saturation by squeezing the bottle. I have not seen that. I want to say Mowgli, but it's Maugle or Maugle.
Mowgli.
Is it an I? Is it an L and an I? Mowgli?
L and an I.
It's
Okay,
MOWGLI.
Gotcha. So with that said, I have the Juggernaut V2 from QP, but it's the full-size RTA. It's a 28 millimeter, and I love that RTA. It's top airflow design. I know people bitch about that, but it's great RTA. I haven't seen the Mini.
Yeah. Well, modern, just look at what you're vaping right now. So if you're using a sub-ohm tank and you enjoy those 0.5s or I don't know what you're vaping. So I don't even know. I haven't bought a sub-ohm coil in a long time, so I don't know what everybody's preference is on sub-ohm coils. But if you're vaping a 0.5, just go to Steam Engine. Look at the wire that you have. So if you have 26 gauge, just punch it in there. Put in nichrome 80, 26 gauge. You want to do a dual coil. You're going to set your inner diameter for your coil, and it's going to tell you how many wraps you're going to need for those two coils, and just you'll be right. You'll have that same vape. You'll have that same exact vape that you have now. I know that people will say it doesn't apply if you're using mesh. I get that. Mesh is a whole different thing, especially in a sub-ohm tank. I know it's a whole different vape. So I mean, I'm never going to say you're going to get the same vape from mesh or single wire coil than you're going to get from a mesh coil. I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, maybe with an exotic coil like an Alien or maybe something like that, a fused Clapton or you might get that similar vape, but single wire build, probably not even going to get close to what a mesh is going to give you. So
no,
I'll be honest there. That's the tough part. I mean, I get that. And that's the problem we're running into now, is because a lot of these people do now have mesh coils in these sub-ohm tanks, and trying to get them to convert from sub-ohm tanks to RDAs and building their own coils and starting with a single wire build. You're not going to get that same flavor. I don't think so.
Mesh tanks and mesh coils in tanks are giving almost as good flavor as building your own.
Right.
Yeah, I prefer nichrome 80 over stainless steel as flavor. I know everybody raves about stainless steel's flavor, but I think nichrome 80, the flavor is much better on that wire than stainless steel.
Yeah, and I think stainless steel more or less addresses the person that wants to try to maybe play in between temp control and just straight power wattage vaping, because stainless steel can kind of go either direction, whereas the nichromes and stuff like that, they don't really do temp control.
Yeah.
So, and most everybody's just a straight wattage vapor anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, the stainless steel allows it allows the builder to get more exotic with the coil. So he can use that stainless steel wire and get lower ohms than, say, he were to build, say, a fused Clapton. Most of them, the inners are usually nichrome, right, Brian? I think so, right? And the inners are usually nichrome, and then the wrap is usually stainless steel 316. So it just allows them to get a lower rating on some of the exotic coils.
Yeah, they're all made completely differently, but in order for them to get that lower ohm on them, a lot of them are made with like N90s. Sometimes 2 is actually in there. It's usually N80, and then it's usually sometimes wrapped with Canthol just to kind of keep that standard resistance with it. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, shit. I mean, for the only time I use stainless steel is to wrap. So if I'm doing a fuse Clapton, I usually do the inside, the inner wires are usually 26 gauge. I usually do a 26-38. So I'll do two 26 gauge wires in the middle, and then I'll wrap it with the stainless steel 30, 38, I think, or yeah, 38. I don't think I 40. I tried 40, but I just keep breaking it. So I'm done with 40. I'm not using 40 ever again. And I gave the spool. I bought like an idiot. I bought 100 feet of it too. Like this is going to be the best wire ever that I'm going to use. And then after like 3 times using it, it kept snapping on me. I was done. I was like, nope. Went grabbed that 38 gauge, and I use that now.
Get into the toaster business.
No shit. And then what's his name was telling me he was using 50.
Yeah.
Saddle Horse Blues. I was like, God, you got to be kidding me.
Hey, John, can you flash our email real quick?
You better believe I can do that.
Like I had it in there in the chat already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well,
Kidding me.
I know I told Morgan before in chat, but if you have any questions, and this goes for everybody in chat,
Yeah.
send us an email right there. One of us will get back to you. Or all of us. We're bored.
Yeah, we're bored.
We like emails.
Yeah. And don't forget about the discount code, guys.
Yeah.
For SilverBack, use code FAM30 and get a nice, I guess it's store wide, he said? Right?
Yes, he's
Site-wide.
store wide. Mm-hmm.
Store wide.
Yeah, get you some. Get you some
I got
before
my-
you can't.
And you
I
got
got my
5
order in.
days. You got 5 days.
Yeah.
I like that they had the I didn't notice anybody else doing that, but I thought that was kind of funny to see that timer on right there in bold, dude. When you go to the page, like right now it says 5 hours. You have 5 hours, 5 days, 1 hour and 33 minutes, guys. Get on it.
Yeah, we have some really great juice companies that come on the show,
Yeah.
and you're talking like premium, top of the line, mainstream juice companies. I mean, this isn't Joe in his bathroom. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
And not Joe from Barista, that a random guy named Joe.
Well, Rick, you already see what John and I face.
Yeah.
We got glasses on just to see our cell phones.
Yeah, that 50 gauge, I mean, that's okay. 48 gauge is thinner than hair. So 50 gauge is just insane. And I mean, you cannot get a kink in it whatsoever. Because when you'll
will
see
break.
next week. Yeah, you'll see next week when I do the up close with the drill doing the Clapton. And, you know, that rotation, you're trying to get that speed going. And you got this wire, it's just kind of, you know, you have to kind of have the wire between your legs just coming down on the table. So if it clinks anywhere, it's going to snap. And there's nothing worse when you get halfway through your Clapton and it breaks and then you don't even have enough to make a coil. Because you can't just go, oh, I'll just tie it in and keep going. It doesn't work that way. It has to be one continuous strand throughout the whole coil.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, it's not going to work.
Modern, I would guess the only limitations on shipping would be vape ban states.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is something we did not ask.
Yeah, but you can always contact them directly.
Right.
I'm sure they got a chat feature or some way for you to reach out to them real quick and confirm.
Yeah, you'll get a notice right after you put in your order, and then when you go to hit the age verification and you put your address in, it will tell you right away. So it'll say cannot ship to that address. So you'll get a notice right away. That's what I've noticed from other sites, and I think they're going to be the same way because I think they use the same service for age checking.
Age checker, I think he called it.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that happened to me on another site where I tried to put my order in and it said I couldn't order for California. So I don't know what's up with that.
When I put my order in with them, I had to go grab my driver's license and take a picture of it.
Yeah, because you look like you're 12 years old.
Yeah,
I know, right?
that baby face of yours.
That baby.
That's why I don't shave, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tim, that's from drinking that good milk that comes in plastic bags.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Hey, leave my bag milk alone.
It's vitamin D Insta hair.
Oh, let's see.
Leave my bag milk alone, damn it.
Roller coaster and drinker.
Well, you're pretty old, Mowgli. A million years ago. Freaking vampire.
Hey, that's good. That makes you feel good. That should make you feel young when you have to ask you to see your driver's license.
That's what I said. That's the one thing I'd be more than willing to give up is the hassle of proving I'm old enough to buy shit.
Now,
Right.
but I wasn't that way when I was in my 40s. It kind of used to piss me off when I was in my 40s when someone fucking would ask for ID. I'm just like, hey, look at me. I'm an adult, man. Look at me.
They don't care.
See that wrinkle? Look at that wrinkle.
40,
right
I
there is
earned
a
that
wrinkle.
damn thing.
Yeah.
Before I quit smoking, I was coming back from Monterey. No, I was coming back from I was coming back from Pismo Beach on the way home, and we stopped at it's AMPM, which is a little gas station. It's like Wahoo and all those other stores. And I stopped in there to go get a pack of cigarettes, and then the kid was obviously probably barely 18 years old, and he goes, "I need to see your ID." Well, I didn't have my ID on me because I had all my stuff packed in my bag. So I was like, "Dude, look at me. I'm old enough to be your father." And he goes, "I don't care. I need to see ID." And I turned around, my cousin was behind me. So I gave my cousin the money, and he goes, "Can't do that either. He can't buy you a pack of smokes." Because I was like, "What the hell, dude?" I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I told him, I said, "I got a kid at home that's older than you. I don't care. I need to see ID." I was like, now that I think about it, I respect that kid. But back then I was pissed. I was like, "Are you kidding me, man?"
John,
Reach across and give him your belt, didn't you?
I wanted to take my belt off and whoop his ass.
John, you need to make yourself a list of things that piss you off.
Oh God, I don't know if we can state some of those things on here, but yeah, that I was mad. Well, back then too, that stretch that we were coming back home, there's not a lot of places. So the next place was quite a ways away. You know, you know how we are when we want our cigarettes. So the next place was another 20 minutes away before we got into another gas station, and I gave him the money. I was like, "Go ahead, go in there. I'm not going to go get my wallet out of my stupid bag, just in case it's going to be this way through this whole stretch of freeway that no one's going to give me a pack of cigarettes." If you guys got any other quick questions, we can hang on for a little bit here and maybe another 10 minutes and answer some questions. Or, hey, how about any of you guys got anything you got on your mind you want to get out? Tim, Tom, Brian?
I'm just waiting for my new toy to get finished.
Wait, let me give Brian his cue. Hey, you got anything, Brian?
I have no questions.
Oh, wow, you're good. All right, then. We were going to go ahead and end the show then. How about
I mean,
that?
I kind of showed everything already, and we already had questions. So
Sounds
I
good.
have. No,
All right.
except for Zach. Was it Zach in chat?
Does Zach have a question? Did I miss Zach?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't have a question, but he likes to come in and give me crap, which is okay. I appreciate that. So thank you.
Good.
Everybody needs to give you crap, Brian.
Hey,
Using
listen.
the RTA for so many.
Could
Yeah,
you-
I mean that's the thing too.
I'm listening. I'm not hearing nothing.
There are a couple RDAs out there that'll do that to you. You know, you'll grab it and you'll try it for the first time. You'll never go back to another. I mean, I can't remember the name of the RDA that I used, but I used the shit out of that thing. It took a lot to get me to stop using it. Oh, Derek's RTA or RDA. What was that called? I forgot the name of it now. It's right here on my desk. It had the Greek name. It was from Hell Vape. It's right here. And I can't see the little writing.
Tim, are you muted?
Tim's mute.
I
Vapor.
was saying to Mike, I was like, yeah, you can watch the show back. Unfortunately, we won't be able to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Set that ALEXA reminder.
Yeah.
Remind me on Wednesday at
Yeah.
Or hit the
so-
notification button. Bell, whatever the hell it is.
I don't. You know what? That thing doesn't always. That's not foolproof. That's
I
not.
know.
That's not bulletproof.
The one on Facebook is if you hit the if you watch the show from Facebook on the ZampleBox page and you hit that reminder, that one's very reliable. But the
Yeah,
one
that
on
one's
YouTube
good.
is not so much reliable. So, and I think that runs all across all these vape shows. I guess everyone's been complaining about it's not working. You have to unsubscribe and resubscribe again, and then click that notification bar. So
Yeah, we missed Mike's witty retorts this
Yes,
week.
yeah.
You need redemption, full redemption next week, Mike Pels.
Yeah.
We're holding you to it, buddy.
All right, guys. Hey, well, that's it for us. And if you're new to the channel, hit that little notification bell, subscribe for number one, hit that notification bell, and give us a like. We want to see some likes, guys. Give us some likes. Hammer it. As they say, hammer it. Do I have the like thing? Brian, you're slow. Brian, give me a like.
Give you a like.
There you go.
Get those likes, hit those, give it there, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see everybody again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the ZampleBox YouTube channel.